sorry I am late. Your boy was making me some quick food real quick because today's Friday and normally I eat on the Friday, but I don't get the funds for it right now, so we're gonna hold off on that. Welcome to another show hosted by yours truly, the greatest ringmaster of Grace Square Screen, your king of clowns, your jester of justice, Mr. as real as it gets, Azrael Kurunushi. And today we're trying to finally complete Chapter 3 of Ace Attorney Investigations 2. So without further ado, let's get to it. Long intro. Very long intro. Ah, yeah, that's right. We left off with the greatest female character in this entire franchise. Well, other than Callisto Yu. Callisto Yu, I don't know what it is about her, but she cannot be beaten. Just can't be stopped. What is that? Are you feeling a little calmer now? Yes. Good. Then allow me to get to the point. Regardless of your intentions, you broke the law. Yes, I understand. Nevertheless, I understand that you did what you did in order to prove Mr. Tangaroa's innocence. Therefore, if the real culprit really is somewhere else, then we have a duty to reinvestigate the case. Overruled. That sharp look. There's nothing to suggest that anything that took place in the official IS-7 incident records. And right now, there's nothing to suggest that we should take Ms. Brown at her word either. So our first order of business should be to arrest the culprit of the case before us, Miss Bound herself. Objection! Official records cannot always be trusted, Judge Gavel. Especially since there are those prosecutors who would think nothing of twisting the facts. Overruled. Are you suggesting that the committee at the time overlooked just such a prosecutor? That's for you and your people to figure out. However, it is a fact that the autopsy report was faked, seeing as Mr. Frost's body was only found just now. There really is something of Mr. Von Karma in you, Mr. Edgeworth. How so exactly? By continually defying the will of the committee and bending the truth to fit your needs, that's how. Perhaps it is time you understand how the committee sees this case. We're already getting to about. We just got back. The committee is willing to accept that Mr. Von Karma falsified Mr. Frost's autopsy report. Even still, Mr. Von Karma only managed to have Mr. Tangaroa convicted as an accomplice. I personally have come to believe that the real culprit behind the IS-7 incident is Ms. Bound. Her plan to poison and kill Mr. Gusto today was her attempt to frame him for Mr. Frost's murder. It's funny because it's literally the other way around. It is, as always, act solely in service of law and order. It sounds to me like all she's doing is acting in service of the committee and covering up the truth. And if I can't change her mind, there will be no saving Mr. Tangaroa or Ms. Bound. Hold it! You said that Mr. Von Karma falsified the report, then why won't you reinvestigate the case? Weren't you wrong just like a chapter ago? The verdict remains true despite Mr. Von Karma. Despite blatant evidence tampering, you sure your precious goddess is into that? Also makes me think the committee might have other reasons for not wanting this looked into again. Further investigation is simply unnecessary since the goddess of justice has already spoken. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Yes, there's a card. So Should really catch down on the final verdict itself. Since Tangeroa confessed to the initial investigating officer, one detective Ian Seidman. The official records state that it was his interrogations that led to the conviction. Therefore, all I can say to you is the goddess of justice has already spoken. Just don't budge it up. Are these committee guys really that big of a deal? In many ways, they are a prosecutor's worst nightmare. So kind of like how the police are to a great thief, huh? Funny how you don't seem to have a problem working with the police when it suits you, though.
Hold it!
Are you suggesting that Mr. Tangeroa and Miss Brown killed Mr. Frost together? Why not? You could even imagine they split their roles as us. Sorry, it could have been the one to commit the act itself while Miss Brown was to remove the body. What? The thought that we could ever kill Mr. Frost. You stole his corpse and hid it for 18 years. Is it really so surprising that you might be considered a suspect as a result? Miss Brown has freely confessed to all of her crimes. Now is not the time to speculate about what else she might have done in the past. Well, let us pass judgment on what we know she did in the present.
Objection!
Okay, so not that.
Hold it!
Why did Miss Brown have chosen to frame Mr. Gusto for the murder? Little did he know that he would be greeted by a trap designed to silence him. I hope that nearly worked. Do you have any evidence to support that line of reasoning? Fortunately, Mr. Gusto remains in critical conditions. It'd be difficult to prove anything until he regains consciousness. In other words, there's little we can do for him. On the contrary, there's plenty we can do. You still have not grasped the situation, have you? Then let me spell it out for you. We have all the evidence we need to explain both the IS-7 incident and the poison gas attack. Do we? I actually don't know with this one. Okay, maybe I should stop shooting at the dark. Let's take this seriously now.
Hold it!
All the evidence you need. No matter the IS-7 incident, we have a body, a murder weapon, and 2 suspects. As for the poison gas attack, we have the sources of the 2 chemicals and Ms. Brown's confession. For you, Mr. Edgeworth, we also have enough evidence to see that you yourself will have to answer to the committee in a formal hearing. Whoa, that doesn't sound good. Don't worry, Mauser, you know, nothing else. You're always more than welcome at Edgeworth & Company. Your Honor, I'd greatly appreciate it if you could stay focused on the matter at hand. Of course. Now, where was I? I have therefore determined that there is no need to investigate either case.
Hold it!
You really mean to assert that there are no loose ends left to investigate? None at all. All the evidence has been examined at length, and there's nothing more to be learned from them. Therefore, I see no need to further prolong this trial. This court finds the defendant... Your Honor, I'm certain there's something that still needs to be examined. The hammer is about to fall, Mr. Edgeworth. Only hard evidence can stop it now. Present what you think requires full deliberation on. Assuming there really is anything left of this. Still one thing we don't have an answer to. It's up to me to point out to Judge Cavell. So, it's not that, it's not that, it's not that. I already explained this and this. I still don't think that we've explained this.
Objection!
Like, I swear on my life, I don't think that we've ever found an answer for that. Why not? What precisely is wrong with my statement? For one thing, the fact that you clearly do not believe it yourself. Yeah, fool it. I know this. I'm actually not sure what we're supposed to present here. Maybe we shouldn't have stopped back then. It was already getting late though, so. All that is already explained. The fact that we can examine it is already proof of something. As they show that the teapot was made by Paul Hooley. It's initials, obviously, right? But I thought his real name was Artie Frost. Was. Thereby making this piece by the victim. Wait, weren't there fingerprints on that? Shit, Edward must have a better idea of this than I do, because,
Objection!
Oh. Well, here, hold on now, because we're about to get our health back. We ain't doing this without our health. Do, 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 do. Wait, almost messed that up. Objection! I'm afraid there's still one question concerning the IS-7 incident that remains unanswered, Your Honor. Would you mind taking a look at this? What is it? There are test results carried out in the liquid at the bottom of the Gemini case in the Winter Wing. As you can see, traces of blood were detected. The question is, whose? Until that question is answered, I hardly think you can claim to have all the evidence. There was blood in the Gemini case? Why did I not hear about this from Eustace? Because Detective Gumshoe informed me of the results directly. Okay, see, that's why. I didn't know about that. So I had to tell Mr. Winter about it myself, of course. You kept this to yourself until now, despite having no jurisdiction here whatsoever? Mark my words, the committee will hear all about what you have done here today. As ever, my interest is in the truth, and if mistakes were made in the past, they must be rectified. If you must report me to the committee, then so be it. When I return, we must be allowed to investigate this case to the very end. That is not my decision to make. You will need to discuss it with Eustace. Guess who's back, losers? And with good news, too. I love Eustace. Low-key, he's probably one of my other favorite characters. Even if nobody else likes him and everyone else thinks he's an annoying little brat, I actually like him. Guess who's back, losers? Eustace Winter has entered the fray. Guess who's back? Back again. Uh-oh. There's a close call for a minute there, but Carmelo Gusto is alive. Gusto, he made it. You're the ones who found me? Yep. Long time no see, Gusto. You're the attorney's assistant. You've grown, and you have an assistant of your own now. Assistant? No, I'm... He hasn't got the gig just yet. This is Gregory Edgeworth's son. Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth, at your service. Fate moves in mysterious ways. I'm in your debt. If you haven't found me in time, I wouldn't be here to thank you. Oh, you're very welcome. After all, if you hadn't lived, we wouldn't be able to ask you what really happened 18 years ago. What are you talking about? I figured out quite a bit while you were out cold, including the fact that you're probably the guy who offed poor Artie Frost. What? Is that true? Miss Bounds set up a very elaborate trap to catch Mr. Frost's murderer. A trap that involved rigging the Pisces case with poison gas. Perhaps in light of that fact, you could tell us in your own words what happened back then? Or perhaps you'd rather exercise your right to remain silent. Oh, it's not that. Gusto's here a fan of the old meditation. You know, Om and all that jazz. Oh, sleeping while standing seems pretty cool. That's one heck of a talent. Except there's no sleeping involved in meditation, Kay. Hey, Gusto Hotel, how about you snap out of it and tell us what went down way back when? I was caught in the girl's trap, so I must be the killer? Is this your idea of a joke? I'm the victim here. Indeed you are, Mr. Gusto, and there is no evidence that you have done anything wrong yet. Mr. Edgeworth and Mr. Fender are merely speculating. Rest assured that they have no authority here and that you may pay them no heed. At least somebody here seems to be on my side. Judge Verity Gavel, it's a pleasure, Mr. Gusto. I'll assist you in any way you may require. Perhaps you could begin by explaining what actually happened 18 years ago to Mr. Edgeworth. Fine. You want me to prove I'm innocent, Mr. Prosecutor? I'll be happy to.
Objection!
So this is how you mean to play it, Judge Gavel. You're hoping Mr. Gusto will help you to hide what happened instead of trying to correct the record? I believe only in the infallible judgment of the goddess of justice. Except it is us humans who make the actual judgment calls in a court of law. And so long as there are those who would use the law to their advantage, our rulings are fallible indeed. If you would use your position to further obscure the truth, then neither she nor I will forgive you. We shall see about that. What do you advise, Judge Gavel? It would seem that you are under suspicion because it was you who triggered the poison gas. Specifically by opening the Pisces case lid. Would you be so kind as to share why with us? Understood. I came to see Frost's sculptures. Simple as that. I made a mistake with the opening times and arrived a half hour early. Miss Bound, was there no one at the reception desk at around that time? I had left the main entrance unguarded and unlocked just in case the killer made an appearance. I was also busy making preparations elsewhere, all the way up until the gallery's opening. So no, there was no one here on the first floor then. But I did make sure that all the wings were locked up tight, all except for the autumn wing, that is. I see. She did all that just to steer the culprit into the autumn wing? Which is precisely where Mr. Gusto went. Sneaking into a building's pretty suspicious, however you slice it. Silence in the courtroom! I will permit no objections or interventions unless there is some evidence that the witness is lying. The courtroom? You know this is an art gallery, right? Mr. Gusto, if you could please continue by explaining why you opened the Pisces case. I wanted to see Frost's work up close. So I went up to the Gemini. Sorry, guess it was supposed to be the Pisces statue. And I saw that the lid was frozen on tight, so I grabbed a blowtorch from nearby and tried to open it. I finally got it open. Gas came pouring out. Fascinating. His is the sort of flawless testimony attorneys can only dream of. Yeah, the everything sounds like a lie kind. I am none too satisfied with Mr. Gusto's explanation myself. Alas, there is no evidence to refute it. Come on, there must be something. It's Bound's story you should be questioning, not mine. I'm not the one who set up the gas trap. She could have killed anybody with that thing. You know how absolutely insane it would be if Judy was the actual like murder from back then and she had planned this to frame this man for real? I would have to give her flowers at that point. I mean, she deserves her flowers now, but that would just be an extra step in like the process.
Objection!
She turned on the sprinklers as soon as the gas was released. She knew exactly what she was doing. She was gunning for the killer and nobody else. That killer being you, old pal. So you believe that self-confessed criminal? Miss Bound is far from blameless in this affair, and she will have to pay for her crimes. But so will Mr. Frost's killer. You seem determined to pin Frost's murder on me, but I had no reason to kill him. And you have no evidence to prove otherwise. Can we really not prove that he's the killer, Mr. Edgeworth? Mr. Gusto fell victim to the poison gas. That much is indisputable. Yet no matter how suspicious his actions in the present may seem, they prove nothing about the past. Yeah, but then what about you, Mr. Fender? There must be something we can do. You're right. We may not have evidence, but we have plenty of intel. Let's see now. If Gusto killed Frost, he must have had a reason. He claims not to have a motive. That can't really be true, can it? If he did it, he has one. Not many people commit murder just for fun. In fact, your old man had a little back and forth with Von Karma about a probable motive too, remember? How can you possibly say that with any certainty, if their relationship had broken down for some reason? That could very well have been the motive behind this murder. Von Karma wouldn't let us talk to Gusto back then, but we can now. If we can put the pieces together, I think the picture we've been looking for might just emerge. Yes, I think you might be right. I need to think back over everything we know about the IS-7 incident, especially the questions that never got answered. And the finger marks? Were you the one wearing the gloves? Let's go and deny that the finger marks on the frame were hers. But what if they were Mr. Gusto's? Perhaps he had wanted to take a look through the Ultimate Cookbook for himself. So he asked me to go put in a new cartridge. He seemed to think there should have been more shots left than there were. In other words, the film ran out sooner than expected. Yes, the number of shots he took didn't line up with the number of shots remaining. But he thought maybe he just lost track somewhere along the way. My father noticed these things for a reason. I just need to piece them together correctly. In the absence of evidence, it's the only way to the truth. Wait, no. Mr. Gusto, you and Mr. Frost conspired to create works for the contest together, did you not? So you know my little secret. Mr. Fender was kind enough to inform me. Mr. Frost was in charge of the designs, while you were in charge of the flavor. Is that correct? What can I say? I still had a long way to travel on the road to becoming a master confectioner. But you only collaborated up to the semifinals. Something changed after that. We both wanted to show what we could do. Show that we were better than Tangaroa.
Objection!
Then why did you help Mr. Frost with his entry for the final? What grounds do you have to say that? Your own statement, made to Mr. Ron Karma 18 years ago. You told him that you had been working together right up until the day before the final. Mr. Frost's entry was carved entirely from blocks of flavored ice. Ice which would have needed at least a day to freeze. And whose flavors would therefore have already been prepared by Mr. Gusto. Yes, which lines up perfectly with what Gusto told me. That he held Frost until the day before the final. In that case, why didn't Mr. Frost reciprocate and help Mr. Gusto in return?
Objection!
I could hardly be expected to read the minds of the dead. Nice. So why didn't Mr. Frost help you in return, I submit that your relationship broke down for some reason, and that became the basis of your motive for murder. That's not how it was. Sure, we stopped working together, but it was all perfectly friendly. You stopped working together in a friendly way? Kind of hard to imagine, but okay. Besides, how do you think I did it exactly? You think I just strolled into Tangaroa's room and killed Frost? I couldn't have killed the man while Tangaroa was in there working on his chocolate pieces, could I? So you see, it can't have been me. Let's see, when Tangaroa wasn't in his room. Ooh. The shame. The shame. I bet it was this. Yep, see, there we go. Photographing the cookbook's contents would be the perfect way to steal its secrets undetected. And what if Mr. Gusto did just that? What if he used Mr. Tangaroa's camera to photograph the book? It would be the perfect crime, so much better than stealing it and getting chased by the cops. A sneaky snapshot or 20? Huh, that could work. The only question is, when would he have done it? Good question. What about during afternoon tea? Didn't Alessia say that Gusto and Frost had missed out on the little tea party they had? Which brings me to the next question. When did we know for certain that Mr. Frost was still alive? After the contest began, nobody saw hide nor hair of Frost as he secluded himself in his room. The only person capable of entering his locked room was Tangaroa, possessing as he did the only key. Mrs. Scone, were Mr. Tangaroa's works the only ones you sampled? No, dear. I couldn't help myself. When I finished my afternoon tea, I tiptoed over to Chillywinks' room for a little taste, too. Mr. Frost had kept to himself inside his room after the contest had started. But he was gone by the time Miss Golden snuck into it to sample his work, meaning there's a good chance he was murdered before the end of the afternoon tea. We can be sure that Mr. Frost was alive until the beginning of afternoon tea, making tea time the only window during which Mr. Gustav could have killed him. Are you satisfied with Mr. Gustav's story now, Mr. Edgeworth? Sadly, I'm afraid I'm still rather unsatisfied. But things are finally starting to become clear, and the truth will soon come to light at last. Do you mean to say that you have uncovered new evidence? Evidence? No. I was hoping I might convince Mr. Gusto to open up to us about it instead. Oh, is it mind games time again? It is. Mr. Gusto, I have a question for you. I said I have a question for you. What is it? You chose to make your entry for the final on your own. I told you I wanted to test myself. I wanted to prove I was the best in the world.
Objection!
If that were the case, then surely you wouldn't have chosen to cheat in the first place. So tell me, Mr. Gusto, why did you feel the need to team up with Mr. Frost? "18 years ago, Mr. Gusto and Mr. Frost collaborated in the confectionery contest. But why did they work together? And why did they enter the contest in the first place? That's the information I need to get out of my opponent somehow." Damn. So Gusto seems to have a habit of pretending to be asleep when things aren't going his way. I started by focusing on why he chose to work with Mr. Frost. On my hand, now is the time to dig up the truth that was buried all those years ago. Mr. Gusto, what inspired you to collaborate with Mr. Frost? We were acquaintances before we were contestants. He was interested in entering the contest, so we decided to sign up together. A decision apparent with the sculptor and nothing to do with your lack of faith in your skills? You don't know me. We joined forces because we wanted to make the most perfect creations possible, that's all. I look so... Alright, so that... Okay, let's try that again. Frost son and mine were in the same grade at school, so we got along pretty well too. Oh, so you were just two friends who happened to try for the title of World's Greatest Confectioner. Pretending to be asleep when the going gets tough won't work on me, I'm afraid. Mr. Frost was a sculptor, Mr. Gusto. I doubt he cared much about winning a title for confectioners. In which case, he probably had a different motive for taking part in the contest, wouldn't you say? Fine. It was me. I wanted that title. Frost was only in it for the prize, the ultimate cookbook. I see. And since your objectives dovetailed so neatly, you decided to work together. But then something happened. A breakdown in your relationship, perhaps? If so, I want to know why. Mr. Prosecutor, I'm still quite unwell after my brush with death. Pushed me too hard. I'll be on my way back to the medical room. No, wait. You better wrap this up quickly. I'm already dangerously low on patience. Mr. Gusto is trying desperately to make his escape, but he's not going anywhere yet. Not as long as he's still keeping things from me. So let's figure out what he really was after next. No time to lose. I need to pick the right line of questioning and fast. You had your eyes on something other than the title, didn't you? After all, I'm not sure the title of World's Greatest Confectioner even counts for that much. Now you're insulting the way of the confectioner? My goal, my only goal, was to win that title. I didn't care about anything else. You have no idea how much it would have meant to me. Look, my sense of design may not have been up to snuff back then, but you should see me now. Oh? So you've improved. You bet I have. I didn't do all that training in Zangfa for nothing. I looked up to Tangaroa, you know, spent hours poring over the designs of his work. Even used to watch his show with my son. Sounds to me like Mr. Tangaroa's work was especially influential in your early studies. This recipe book, you might have even become the best someday. Maybe. The book was a real treasure, no doubt about that. Any confectioner would have wanted it. You claim that your only goal is to win the title. Yet you also seem to have had an interest in the contest prize, the ultimate cookbook. The greatest collection of recipes by the world's greatest confectioner. I can't say I had absolutely no interest in it. And even if I did, what exactly is so wrong with that? Nothing, I suppose. Only that the book contained recipes for medicines, not desserts. And everyone who entered the contest supposedly knew that. I feel like I'm finally getting somewhere. Can't let him slip from my grasp now. I just need to stay calm and keep the pressure on. Next, let's find out why he wanted the cookbook. So your plan was to win the cookbook and use it to help you with your own creations? What else? A book like that could have improved my craft tenfold. You could have made a lot of money if you sold it. I don't know much about what was actually in there, but it was worth more than money, I'll tell you that. Come now, Mr. Gusto. I think you know more about the Ultimate Cookbook than you claim. They told us a little about it at the start of the contest. Then you know what kind of recipes it actually contained, don't you? And that they weren't dessert recipes at all. I see you did your homework. Fine, so you know what was really in there. The Ultimate Cookbook, or the Angel's Cookbook, to give it its proper title. It's a collection of chemical formulas and ways to synthesize new medicines nobody had ever heard of. So he did know that the cookbook actually contained the recipe for medicine. An important clue. Did you know how valuable the cookbook really was? What kind of question is that? It was a collection of Tangaroa's recipes. It wasn't a confectioner in the world who wouldn't have wanted to get their hands on it. Your designs may have improved thanks to your training in Zangfa, but you clearly didn't do enough work on your skills of deception. You already admitted that you knew the Ultimate Cookbook was a collection of recipes for medicines. Thereby making your interest not gastronomical, but pharmaceutical in nature. You're a confectioner, Mr. Gusto. You had no professional interest in revolutionary new medicines, which suggests that your interest must have been personal. I underestimated you. Fine, you're right. Winning the title wasn't the only reason I entered the contest. I needed one of the recipes in that book. It was for my son. He was sick. He was? Tell me more. That's none of your business. I've told you as much as you need to know. He looks rattled, but I can't let him off the hook. Let's find out what this mystery illness was. Just got to the bottom of this. I can feel it. Just a few more moves. Can you tell me the name of the disease your son suffered from? You're a real cold customer, Mr. Prosecutor. Isn't it enough that he was seriously ill? Why would you force me to tell you more? I don't have a clue as to how to proceed with that line of questioning. So you need the cookbook to cure your son? Yeah, nowadays you can get the medication you needed anywhere. But back then, that book was our only hope. Which is why I didn't dare waste my time on fancy tea parties. I had to give my all to my work. What about Mr. Tangaroa's work? Surely that tea break gave you the perfect opportunity to go steal a glance at it. Well, it makes you think I had the energy or time to care about what the others had made. So recovering, so if you got nothing to say, let me go back to it. Uh-oh. I think it made abundantly clear how much interest you had in Mr. Tangaroa's work. What's more, if you were that determined to win the Ultimate Cookbook, I seriously doubt you would have passed up on a chance to take a peek at your competitors' entries. I've had plenty of chances throughout the contest to see and sample my rival's work, you know. But each time I did, nothing seemed to have any flavor. Must have been nerves or something. Oh, your son. He was my pride and joy, my biggest fan. Entered the contest in order to help him? Clearly don't have children of your own. Any father would have done the same. I would have done anything to help him. Anything! You would come see me here at the contest venue too, right up through the semifinal. Really? You didn't get in the way of your work? If you're trying to beat Samson Tangaroa, surely you didn't have the time to look after a child. Yeah, well, I wanted to do what I could for him. He said he wanted to always be the first to try my creations. So your son was sick, Mr. Gusto. That he was able to come and join you for the contest. It wasn't that kind of illness. Nothing life-threatening anyway. This feels like it could be an important clue. You've already shared with me that your son's illness wasn't life-threatening. So why are you so reluctant to share any further details? It may not have been life-threatening, but that doesn't mean it hadn't been life-altering. See, that must have been very hard on both of you. Of course it was. That was why I did everything I could to find a cure. We were desperate. He couldn't taste anything, not even his favorite desserts. So I understand that the Ultimate Cookbook contains the recipe for a very particular medication. One that Mr. Tangaroa used to cure himself of his own taste disorder. So he had it too. Two, you say? So your son has a taste disorder then, am I correct? How did I let that slip? You've been asking me to believe that you need to win the cookbook in order to cure your son. But was that really the case? Of course it was. What are you saying? Saying that I'm not so sure that's true based on everything you've told me. Taste disorders are difficult to live with. It isn't easy not being able to enjoy your food. You should know, after all, you just told me you'd experienced something like that during the contest. You said that nothing you sampled had any flavor. Those were your words, correct? Which would seem to suggest that you were suffering from a taste disorder. Affection without a sense of taste? Not exactly ideal. Are you sure it wasn't actually your own condition you were seeking a cure for, Mr. Gusto? I've had enough of your speculations. I managed just fine in that contest. Made all my own entries, no problem. Sorry, but I'm afraid you're contradicting your own testimony. You already admitted that you and Mr. Frost had worked together during the contest. It's too late to claim you did it all on your own now. Damn. Got his ass. You have us to believe that you are a man of principle, a dedicated student of the confectioner's art. Yet you abandoned these principles and conspired with Mr. Frost to rig the contest. Also, you could cure your own taste disorder. You got me, Mr. Prosecutor. As you said, my sense of taste was shot. My son's was fine. I kept it hidden for so long, 18 years, and nobody knew. Sadly, you can lie to others, but you can't lie to me. Both Mr. Gusto and Mr. Frost entered the contest hoping to attain the ultimate cookbook. For the medicine that would cure Mr. Gusto's disorder, and the money it would bring in for Mr. Frost. Thus, an uneasy alliance was forged. And that, I believe, is checkmate. That was close. Because I almost ran out of time. Mind chess checkmate! I'll admit it. You're good. I never told anybody any of this, but you figured it all out anyway. It's true. 18 years ago, I developed agwasia. What's agwasia? It's a taste disorder that makes it so that you can't taste anything at all. Confectioner's worst nightmare. Mr. Fender, is this what Mr. Tangaroa had as well? No, the big man had what they call dissociated taste disorder. Basically, some things he could taste just fine, while others had no flavor at all. So he suffered too. It can't have been easy. Not when there wasn't a way to cure it on the market. Which is why you needed Mr. Tangaroa's cookbook. You admit now that that was the real reason you entered the contest? It was only one of the reasons. I wasn't lying when I said I wanted the title. When I put my mind to something, it gets done, and I won't lose to anybody! I may not have been able to taste it then, but I still knew my stuff was good enough to win. Oh, so you went into the final thinking you stood a good chance of winning? Of course. What was it that Fender said about what Mr. Tangaroa thought of Mr. Gusto's creation? Mr. Gusto's creations were a perfect balance of flavor and design, at least up through the semifinal. But disappointingly, his entry for the final was subpar on both counts. We were told that your entry for the final was far from the prize-winning taste sensation you described. What happened, Mr. Gusto? What went wrong that day? Fine. You want me to talk, I'll talk, but you're not going to like what I have to say. Frost and I were working together right through the semifinal. I handled the flavor, he did the designing. But I wanted to face Tangaroa in the final on my own. No help, just me and my skills. So I helped Frost with his entry, but mine I did alone. If it didn't taste good in the final, that's on me. What can I say? I lack training. That's all there is to it. Happy now? Doesn't seem to be any obvious contradiction in his testimony. Yep, not that I thought it'd be easy to get anything real out of him. He's managed to not let slip what really happened for 18 years after all. Why don't you try pushing him a bit, Malzarino? See if you can't shake something loose. I think I just might have to, Fender. Hold it! Frost was in charge of designing the work you both submitted while you handled the taste? Yeah, he was a sculptor, a craftsman, and his sense of design was second to none. But he was clueless about confectionery, which is where I came in. We each did what the other couldn't. And boy, did you not have an eye for aesthetics. Not even for the simple stuff. Wah, wah, wah. How do you like me now? Huh. The national symbol is Zangfa. Oh yeah, it's a phoenix. That's awesome. I'll say, pretty different to the stuff you were pumping out 18 years ago. Behold the fruits of my training. I've dedicated my whole life to my craft. But back then, we both needed each other's help, so we joined hands until the final.
Hold it!
You were serious about winning the title then? Of course, the art of confectionery is my life. Why wouldn't I have wanted to be crowned the greatest? But I still had a lot to learn back then. Guess it's no surprise my work wasn't up to scratch. But the title wasn't the only thing you wanted. There was the cookbook too. And you wanted the book even more than you wanted the title. Isn't that right, Mr. Gusto?
Overruled.
Mr. Edward, you are badgering a witness who is still suffering the effects of today's attack. I cannot allow this harassment to continue. I understand, Your Honor, but... Ignore him, Mr. Gusto. You need not answer that vile prosecutor's question. Please do continue your testimony in your own time.
Hold it!
Seems like Mr. Frost didn't help you at all? But he'd help you up until then, correct? It's a bit strange for him to stop so late in the contest now. Strange or not, it's the truth. Could be he had his reasons too, I wouldn't know. He's lying, it's going to be a headache to prove. 18 years is a long time. Not unless that gizmo of yours has a built-in lie detector, Kay. If it did, I'd have stolen the show from Mr. Edgeworth long before now. Don't worry, Creditor. I can tell when he's lying. No Doohickeys assistance required. Please, Mr. Gusto, continue your testimony.
Hold it!
And yet, I heard that your creations prior to the final were scored highly for their flavor. So what went wrong? Was there some kind of cooking accident on that day? No, nothing like that. It was... I told you I had a taste disorder. My sense of taste failed me. It's as simple as that. Mr. Frost's entry was complimented on its flavor. Your sense of taste hadn't failed you then. Did something happen overnight? I don't think he's going to spill any more beans, Mr. Edgeworth. Perhaps I should ask him about something else. No, I'll just stick with what I have for now. 18-year-old mystery. Key to unravel it is finally in my grasp. Remember, I think Fender told me about what he and my father discovered.
Hold it!
Come on. You knew Mr. Frost from before the contest, correct? You remembered, I see. So and Frost used to go to elementary school together.
Hold it!
It was no coincidence that you both entered the contest, correct? Yeah, I heard about it first, and I told Frost. I knew he'd be interested. He was always short of cash for his sculptures. That's right, Mr. Frost was supposedly always in financial trouble, wasn't he? The cookbook is really worth that much? See that glint in your eye, kiddo, but don't get your great thieving hopes up. It was worth a lot back then. But these days, you can find most of the stuff in there on any drugstore shelf. Aw, bummer. So literally every last contestant only ever had eyes for that cookbook, I see. Frost gets so nice on.
Hold it!
I don't think it's that. He was very honest with that one. Something changed between the semifinal and the final, Mr. Gusto? Not really. The only difference between the semifinal was the Frost was helping me. That's not true.
Objection!
I can think of one significant difference between the semifinal and the final, Mr. Gusto. Your son. This is him in the photograph, correct? He told me he was here with you after the semifinal. He was. What of it? What indeed? He was here with you until the semifinal, until he suddenly wasn't for the final. Just as suddenly, your work went from being lauded for its flavor to being lambasted for it. I don't think that's a coincidence, do you? He wasn't just spending quality time with his father. He was playing a much more pivotal role than that. I just wanted him to see me hard at work, to show him I was trying my best for him, for us. Who knows? Maybe it was him being here that helped me do so well in those early rounds. He talks a good game, but nothing about this guy screams super dad to me. Dude, thankfully, we would only have to give such an idea credence if his story were true. After all, how much could the encouragement of one small boy affect the taste of a grown man's work? Mr. Gusto prided himself on the flavor of his creations, but then he lost his sense of taste. He must have had a tough time maintaining his high standards after such a devastating loss, unless... Sure, your son was here to cheer you on, but that wasn't all he was here to do, was it? You're a very suspicious man, Mr. Prosecutor, but why not try answering yourself for a change? What was an elementary school kid doing here other than to support his father? Your son knew the taste of your work pretty well, I imagine, Mr. Gusto. He was my biggest fan. Of course he knew it. In which case, he would have been a good judge of whether something tasted on brand, so to speak, no? What are you implying? You already told us that you were suffering from a taste disorder. Oh, you're good. I never told anybody this, but you figured it all out. Sure, 18 years ago, I developed agwesia. No one knew about your condition. Where's my... Oh, there it is. Indeed, I doubt Mr. Frost would have wanted to continue collaborating with you had he found out. After all, it was your job to make sure his creations tasted good. Therefore, your son wasn't just here to support you. He was helping you by taste testing your work. Dang, now it all makes sense. Frost stuff tasted good because it really was finished the day before when the kid was still here. You have a vivid imagination, Mr. Prosecutor. But do you seriously think I trust a kid to tell me how to adjust the taste of my masterpieces? I have some pride, you know, even back then. Did you now? My designs may not have been much to write home about back then, but I always knew my work tasted better than anybody else's. You think I'd risk everything by putting my reputation in the hands of a child? This is just mere speculation. That's all it is. In that case, I ask to speak to your son this instant. Let's see how much of your story he can corroborate. Sadly for you, my son is no longer my concern. What? As soon as I got my sense of taste back, I went straight to Zangfa to start my training. I cut off all ties with the kid for good. What? That's crazy. That's actually insane. You abandoned your own child? And that ain't the half of it. No one knows where he is, even now. The cops have looked all over for him, but no dice. So, still think you can prove your asinine theory? I'd like to see you try. You think I care about anything besides confectionery? Think again. I got my sense of taste back. What need do I have for a son? Silence in the courtroom. While Mr. Gusto's words and actions may demonstrate a certain lack of humanity on his part, the goddess of justice cannot judge him for that. Therefore, Mr. Edgeworth, I believe it is time for you to admit defeat. Yeah, give it up. 18 years is a long time for anything to surface now. Proof or otherwise. Mr. Edgeworth, we have to do something. Wait, did he say 18 years? That as soon as he got his taste back, he went to Zangfa? That's an interesting thing, because I recently learned about this thing called the Statute of Limitations, and how that works. Where are you, Detective Gonshiro? Can't imagine whose blood it could possibly be, but I'll get it tested right away, sir. It's you, Detective. It's the last piece of the puzzle, I'm sure of it. Once we know whose blood it is. Hey, Miles, sorry to cut in on your mind palace time, but I was pondering something myself. My friend Gusto didn't come here just to check up on the body, did he? You mean because he tried to open the case? Exactamundo. Think we have anything that might explain why he tried to do that? We might. Detective Gumshoe can make it back in time with a certain piece of evidence. That's quite enough idle chatter, Defense. Now if you... Mr. Edgeworth, sir! Sorry to keep you waiting. She's like, shit. Shit. Seek of the devil. I take it you have the test results, Detective? Yes, sir. The lab just got back to me. Detective, please. Court is in session. Now then, am I right to assume that you are bringing us the evidence Mr. Edgeworth was just speaking of? Yeah, she really was trying to cut him off there, too. What? Hey, no fair. Why didn't anybody tell me about any of this? Is indeed the evidence in question, Your Honor. It needed testing, so I asked them to carry it out. What the? Why is everybody always helping you? I'm supposed to be the one in charge here. Mr. Winter, I'm sorry I didn't involve you, but this is important. Can we at least hear what the detective has to say? Well, alright. So, Detective Gumshoe, what did the tests have to tell us? You're not gonna believe this, but the owner of the blood we found in the liquid at the bottom of the Gemini cases? Carmelo Gusto, the victim of the poison gas attack. What are you talking about? Thank you, Detective. You've been very helpful. Well, it looks like my suspicions were confirmed. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, what do you mean? Explain yourself. What is the significance of this blood to this case? It's only the very thing the perpetrator of the IS-7 incident has been trying to hide all these years. The fact that your blood was found inside the Gemini case, Mr. Gusto, is as good as us finding your blood lying right next to Mr. Frost's body. Why would there be traces of your blood there of all places, Mr. Gusto? If you won't answer her honor, Mr. Gusto, then I will. There wasn't just blood in the liquid from the Gemini case. There were traces of salt and sugar, too. There were? And if you remember, one particular part of Mr. Frost's work was allegedly very salty indeed. Oh yeah! You're talking about what Delicia told us back then, right? What was it again? Did they ever? I've never tried ice so scrumptious in all my life. Really? Man, I wish I could have had a bite. Well, scrumptious except for the salty bit, of course. That was unbearable. Salty bit. It's in the other photo you got there. This bit. The harp thingy. Gemini's Lear. Yes, the Lear. And only the Lear. tasted as if it had been flavored with salt. There are no traces of salt anywhere else in Mr. Frost's entry. Very interesting. Then perhaps you could tell us, Mr. Edgeworth, where did the salt in the Lear come from? Oh, you can't present, what you call it? Is that sugar from?
Take that!
Oh, wait. It's extremely distressing to watch you fondle so horribly. Oh, I need that. That's my collection. Extremely distressing. That's what you're looking for. I may be able to produce some from my eyes. So a salty cold sting as mine run down my cheeks. Perhaps you could present us with a slightly less outlandish explanation. Oh, duh!
Take that!
This is the lamp from the IS-7 incident. Indeed, and I believe that the salt that gave the Lear its flavor came from just the lamp. Sir Von Carmack could establish that both salt lamps were in Mr. Tangaroa's room at the time of the crime. One of them was used to kill Mr. Frost, and was stained with his blood. But no correspondence. A pool of blood was found in Mr. Tangaroa's room. Right, because the culprit had chucked a piece of chocolate with that on it into the little stream. Furthermore, aside from the Lear, no traces of salt were found anywhere else in Mr. Frost's room, either. Hey, come to think of it, the lamps we found in Delicia's room were both broken. The lamps appeared to be broken. Bulbs are smashed. Both of them. Maybe they fell and broke on the floor? We never did figure out how the other one that wasn't used to kill Frost got busted, but are we thinking maybe that Gusto's blood on it at some point? Anyone whose blood was found on one of the lamps would have been a person of interest to the police, so the killer needed to hide the blood somehow, and in a way that wouldn't arouse suspicion. You're seriously suggesting that the Lear was used to do just that? I am. I suspect that the bloody salt was somehow applied to the Lear so that it could be hidden inside the case. Because unlike the fountain water, the sculptures would have needed more time and care to test properly. So he waited and waited for his chance to dispose of the Lear undetected. Then the reason he's here today is 18 years ago, Mr. Frost's body and the evidence pointing to his killer were taken away together. This, of course, was not part of the perpetrator's plan, unless a new dilemma arose. How could he be sure that neither Mr. Frost's body nor the evidence wouldn't be discovered someday? So back he comes 18 years later, sneaking in bright and early to try and cover his tracks. Well, Mr. Gusto, are you finally ready to admit it? That you were the one responsible for the IS-7 incident? Mr. Gusto, it's all because of you, that Samson. Gusto. So I finally got caught, huh? Ah. Here he goes. He's admitting it. Nobody came close back then. Not even the big shot prosecutor or the attorney. That's some impressive work, Mr. Prosecutor. I have to hand it to you. You admit it then, that you murdered Artie Cross? Sure I do. I did it. I killed him. But he only had himself to blame. What do you mean by that? He agreed to help me. We were supposed to help each other so that one of us could win. And whoever won was supposed to let the other use the cookbook. But on the day of the final, the rat finally showed his true colors. Seriously, Cross, we had a deal. Sorry, I'm not helping you in the final. Our little agreement is over, Gusto. But I helped you! I spent all day yesterday making the ice cream pieces. Did you? And you can prove that, I suppose. What do you... Wait, you were planning to betray me right from the start, weren't you? After Frost double-crossed me, I had to make my peace with the final by myself. And like you said, my son wasn't there, so I didn't have any help with the flavor either. So much for the pride you claim to have in your ability to make delicious desserts. Go ahead and judge. You had no idea what it was like for someone like me to lose my sense of taste. I gave up everything to become the best. Everything! I take pride in that. Something someone like you could never understand. You're right, I don't understand. Do you take pride in the fact that you resorted to murder? Or that you abandoned your son? Why would I want to understand someone who could do such things? A man can't afford to rely on other people. I learned that the hard way 18 years ago. My son never showed up on the day of the final. And in hindsight, I wouldn't be surprised if Frost was the reason why. Why would you think that? What exactly happened to your son? How am I supposed to know? I told you, he's none of my concern anymore. And according to you guys, nobody knows where he is now either. And you don't care? You're horrible. So with his disappearance, so too went your chances of winning, correct? Yeah, I had to find another way of getting my hands on that book. That's when inspiration struck. I decided to skip afternoon tea and snuck into Tangaroa's room. It should have been so easy. All I had to do was photograph in the formulas I needed and get out of there. But then Frost showed up. I thought I might find you here. Stealing recipes from the famous cookbook, Frost! What's this? A cure for taste disorders? Oh no, that's just too tragic. A confectioner who can't taste anything? What will people say? You tell anybody, I'll... You'll what? You can't even hit me, you miserable worm. Why, you... Frost shoved me hard when I went to punch him. Knocked me clean off my feet. I crashed into one of the lamps. It must have been when my blood got on it. So Mr. Frost wasn't the first to get hurt. When it was all over, I realized I had to get rid of that blood somehow, so I scraped it all off the bloody bits. I dissolved those salt shavings in some flavored ice mixture and brushed it all over the heart. That's how you made the evidence linking you to the murder vanish. Frost was going to blackmail me. He would have made me give him money to keep quiet about my condition. His hair is epic. I love his hair. Even back then, it was actually pretty stylish too. But like, I like the white. The white just kind of suits it better. So you decided you had to kill him? Yeah, I guess I did. Why would I let him live? Would you want someone holding something like that over your head? Besides, he's the one who drew first blood. Makes for a solid case of self-defense, don't you think? Solves the impetus behind it all. Anyway, I initially took the lamp to Frost's room. Went straight there once I figured out how I was going to hide the bloody part. Inspired by all the ice sculpturing tools lying about the place, I guess. You're not as dumb as you pretend to be. Yeah, figured I could use them to chip it off and grind it up. Once that was done, painting the stuff all over the heart was easy. But why Samson? Why did you have to frame him? I never meant for the cops to pin it on him. That was your fault, you and the rest of them. Why do you think I went to the trouble of placing the lamps and cloth back in Scone's room? There's only one reason to plant the murder weapon in the room of another contestant, and that's to cast suspicion on that person. What? You tried to frame me, Gusty Vance? Yeah. But why? Why poor old me? I respected Tangaroa. He was the best, a true champion. I would never have wanted him to take the fall. But you're a fraud. Your work wasn't even real. You had no respect. You know what? Honestly, I gotta give him his props. For the fact that he's just a horrible human being, he actually has a lot of pride and honor. He's like, nah, I never wanted that man Tangaroa to get caught. But you, miss, I'm gonna fake all my designs to cheat my way through the top for a cookbook that you didn't even need? I'm sorry, He's kind of a goat for that, for real. I like everyone in this case. Except for Delicia. Delicia is just weird. Oh, hello, Einander. You deserve to be punished for what you did. No, but honestly, I hate him, but why do I agree with him? I can definitely see that being the case. And poor Judy. Poor Judy. She kind of set her own man up by accident. Because she interfered with the crime scene. But then again, because she interfered with the crime scene, dude got caught later on. There's no telling if he would have gotten caught back then. And had you refrained from eating Tangaroa's work, the Frost's body wouldn't have been found. My plan was to wait until Tangaroa was judging your room. That's when I'd sneak the corpse in the Frost room and freeze it. Thanks to you, Bound here found it before I had a chance to retrieve it. I don't understand. Why did you need to freeze his body at all? Ha, why indeed? Mr. Edgeworth, surely you must know. Why did Mr. Gusto need to freeze Mr. Frost's body? Mr. Gusto needed to freeze Mr. Frost's body in order to obscure the time of death. If they determined that the murder occurred during afternoon tea, he would have been an obvious suspect. Ha ha ha! Bingo! Freezing Frost's body wasn't simple. Preparing everything took time. So I decided to put his body in the chest in Tangaroa's room while I got everything ready in Frost. At the time, it seemed like the perfect hiding place. Never counted on such gluttonous pharmacists showing up and making the whole ship collapse. She unironically saved her own life. Because she was hungry. Because she's greedy. Her greed is what really caused her to not be a suspect. And that's what's literally driving me crazy. I still don't get it though. Why disguise the body as an ice sculpture at all? The sooner it was found, the smaller the effect of freezing it would have had on masking the time of death. Therefore, he needs to disguise it, at least until it's fully frozen. How awful. Using Mr. Frost's own work to help you cover up the truth behind his murder. Ironically, Tangaroa would have been just fine if the body hadn't been found before I got it out of his room. If only things had gone to plan, he wouldn't even have been arrested, let alone convicted. You mean it was my fault? Everything that happened to Samson? It was all because I found the body? Don't let him get inside your head, Judes. None of this is your fault. If it wasn't Samson, it would have been Delicia instead. She would have been the one they arrested. Either way, there's only one person to blame here. That's Gusto. It didn't help that the initial detective was so bad at his job either. He never even told the prosecutor that the body had vanished. So that Mr. Von Karma had unwittingly placed Mr. Tangaroa under arrest in the absence of a body? I mean, I guess it would explain why he was so keen to wrap things up. Still, you'd think he'd notice something as big as that if he'd taken a look at a few reports, right? Not if someone had been deliberately distorting the facts of the case, though. Either way, it seems that Mr. Von Karma didn't know about the body until after the arrest had been made. But admitting that would have spoiled his perfect record. So he kept it to himself and proceeded to prosecute Mr. Tangaroa regardless. Can this really be true? You don't feel bad at all? Somebody spent 18 years in prison because of you. Sticks and stones, girlie. Sticks and stones. What a jerk. I ought to arrest you right now, pal. I'm afraid I can't allow you to do that, detective. So you noticed, huh? Glad someone did. The judge is right. You can't lay a finger on me. What? Why? You just confessed the murder. No idea, huh? Then I guess I'd better lay it out for you. I killed Frost 18 years ago. The statute of limitations for murder in this country is 15 years. You do the math. You can't arrest me. You think I'd have confessed otherwise? That's right. The statute of limitations is only 15 years. Is this really the end of the line, Mr. Edgeworth? Once the statute is expired, he can't be charged, so... But... How unfortunate, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm afraid that both Mr. Gusto's confession and your deductions will have to be struck from the record, and that Mr. Tangaroa's conviction will remain in place. But we've finally proven that the police never had Mr. Frost's body in their possession. Even if we can't arrest Mr. Gusto, surely Mr. Tangaroa has grounds for a retrial on that basis. Does he? I wouldn't be so sure. I'm afraid that the goddess's judgments are somewhat harder to overturn than you might imagine. So the committee means for the verdict from 18 years ago to stand no matter what? Bad luck, Mr. Prosecutor. There must be something we can do. Something to bring Mr. Gusto down.
Hold it!
The passage of time doesn't diminish what you did, Mr. Gusto. Or is it Gusto? Like the French name, Gusto. I like that. It sure diminishes one thing though. Your ability to arrest me. Yo, he's a little troll, that man is. We can arrest you real good. I could have you in cuffs before you even blink, pal. Right, Mr. Edgeworth? This issue isn't as open and shut as you're making it out to be, Detective. You can't touch me, it's too late for that. Relax, my boy. Hold on, I want to give it a shot just in case. Okay, so it's not that. But I know for a fact. I don't need to look at it. It's hard. You need to try it. I know what the answer to this predicament is. I just don't know how to get it out there. Personal skills. I wholeheartedly recommend going to Zangfa.
Hold it!
Depending on your actions over the last 18 years, the statue may not have expired yet. This ought to be good. Alright, I got nothing to hide. There's something you want to ask? Ask it. Very well. Tell us where you've been and what you've been doing since the incident. Sure. Not long after the contest, I was able to cure my taste disorder thanks to the formula for that book. Not so long after that, I went to Zangfa to really buckle down to hone my craft. That explains a lot. We tried to contact you after the fact, but I guess you were long gone by then, huh? Thought someone was up my door. Could be. I left, let's see, around a year after the murder. That was before Tangaroa's last day in court. Going to Zangfa was the best thing I ever did. Flavor design. I'm a full package now. All on the backs of those whose lives you destroyed. So I'm without a few eggs, huh? Nothing, Mr. Prosecutor. Nothing. You're evil. Sticks and stones, girlie. You can't arrest me, and that's all that matters. Any more to work with? There has to be something I can get out of him. Maybe I can push him further on the statements he just made. I'd like you to tell us more about your training as Zangfa if you wouldn't mind. Fine. Although it's Zangfa the training, I finally became the best in the world.
Hold it!
You were there for a while, I imagine. Yeah, less of time after the investigation wrapped up. I've been meaning to go there and start my studies for a while. And thanks to the hard work I put in. Hua! 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 Look at that dragon! That's actually really cool. Oh, that's amazing. You like it? It's yours. Really? Alright. Let's set some time in Zangfa training. Objection! The statute of limitations for murder is subject to the following condition. The statute is suspended should the suspect flee to a foreign country, which means that the time he spent abroad doesn't count toward the total time under the statute. No way, so it's like someone hit pause while he was in Zangfa. It appears that there may be time left on the clock yet. That will depend on how long you stayed in Zangfa, Mr. Gusto. It was 3 years exactly. So he left a year after the investigation. So a year after that, he was Gone for 3 years. So that makes 4 in total. This all happened 18 years. Ooh! Hold on. I always say anything until I've done the math. The murder happened 18 years ago. That statue's 15 years. Add the 3 overseas. So it's exactly 18. Jeez, no way. Edgeworth, you did it. The statue hasn't expired after all. Bingo, 18 years exactly. Glad you worked it out for yourselves. She's been stringing us along this whole time. If it's on the last day that the statute of limitations. Why is he laughing? We're good, aren't we? We can arrest him now. I hate to break it to you, little sis, but I said I went down at the end of December. It's April now, which means, strictly speaking, it's been 18 years and 4 months since Frost's murder. But he left a year after that. So technically, you gotta subtract 1 off of that. Just still saying Zancar really lasted 3 years on the nose, it's not enough. Or a few months short. Not enough. But, what did I tell you? You can't touch me. To admit it, but he read the board well when he made his confession. How unfortunate, Mr. Edgeworth. Fallen statute had been suspended for another year. He literally just said that he didn't leave until like a year later. Who overturned the goddess' judgment must be willing to pay the price should they fail. You, Mr. Edgeworth, have failed. There must be something I could do. I knew it. Well, if the law can't bring Mr. Gusto to justice, then... Jude, what are you thinking?
Objection!
There's no need to go adding to your rap sheet just yet. We're not done here. Far from it. Because there's still a way we can nail him. There is? She was about to kill that man. She was... Yo, you're horrible. You're horrible, but I love you. Nah, she said since the law can't capture this man, it looks like I'm about to take it into my own hands. And I heard her cracking her knuckles, licking her lips, preparing the gun underneath her dress. Alright, Balzerino, crud talk. I need you to think back over everything we know about the case. Gusto's overlooked one critical thing that you yourself were led to believe wrongly about. Which is, he wasn't there for Samson's last trial, remember? Best I can tell, he doesn't seem to know what the final verdict that came down that day is. Which means, there's still one way left to us. Crack open your statutes for W's there and take another look. Alright. So, 15 years to the indictment to the end of their trial. Ooh. This is just... So just suspended from the time of any accomplices to the end of their trial. Years ago, they really did a number on Samson and framed him like a pretty picture. But if we make good use of that verdict now, we can make Gusto pay in full for what he's done. Bender, are you... Those who would overturn the goddess' judgment must be willing to pay the price should they fail. Samson's my client, Miles, and I can't bring myself to use the source of his pain as a weapon in this fight. So whether we play our last card or not, it's gonna have to be up to you. Bringing Mr. Gusto to justice can only happen if I use the outcome of that hard-fought trial. So, should I raise an objection and play that card or not? Obviously. We can't let this man get away! My father and Mr. Von Karma, one sought to reveal the truth, the other to hide it. I know which path I chose to follow, the one that seeks to reveal the truth. This court has reached its final verdict. The record will state that Mr. Gusto has been found not guilty on all counts. No, Your Honor, Mr. Carmelo Gusto is absolutely guilty, and I refuse to let him walk away. His crimes are too unspeakable to go unpunished. Do you mean to suggest that you have grounds upon which to call for his arrest? I do. Now to show Judge Gavel something that proves the statute of limitations hasn't yet expired. Wait. What did that say? Statute of limitations expired 3 years ago on December 24th. Is there a particular page of the IS-7 you like to... I would assume case overview, right? Case overview, Your Honor. Sure, we're all very familiar with the particulars of this case by now, Mr. Andrew. Now let's see how they have any relevance to statute of limitations. Oh! Damn. Oh, suspect data. Victim data? No. Hold on. Suspect data. So you see, why would they do that to me? I'd like to direct your attention to the page concerning the suspect. I honestly forgot what the page was again. So you see, Samson Tangaroa was convicted as an accomplice. And it took around 1 year from his indictment for the verdict to be reached. Yes, that does seem to be the case. The book you gave us details certain conditions pertaining to the statute of limitations for murder. One of them, as I mentioned, is that the statute is suspended if the suspect flees the country. And another states that the statute is suspended from the time of any accomplice's indictment to the end of their trial. What? Tangaroa is convicted as an accomplice? Yep, guess you were in Zhengfa when the verdict came down. Samson was convicted as an accomplice, not as the main perpetrator. Which is clearly news to you, and not good news either, am I right? But how can that be? Tangaroa wasn't an accomplice to anyone. He was innocent, and you know it. Oh, we know it. It's what we've been trying to prove all along. And in a pleasing twist of fate, his wrongful conviction will be the very thing that sets him free. Ah! Yeah. You spent 3 years in Zhengfa. And your accomplice Samson Tangaroa was on trial for 1 year. It means that you can still be charged with Mr. Frost's murder up to 19 years after the fact. In other words, the statute of limitations hasn't expired at all. The goddess's judgment is infallible. That of her servants, it appears, is not. It seems the prosecutor in charge of this case may have erred. Unbelievably, we may have no choice but to instigate a full inquiry. No, how could this... You were supposed to be able to... 18 years. That's a long time to let somebody else suffer for your crimes. It's time to pay the piper, Gusto. And now a moment too soon. But I'm finally the greatest. My brilliance has been recognized. I gave up everything for this. Everything, even my son. More's the pity. But you can't run from the law forever, because the bills come due at last. Because he didn't kill his son. At least not his own. Well, we haven't gotten to that. Don't worry about that. Let's just be happy that we finally made it through this one. Mr. Gusto's all set for his trip downtown, sir. Good. Which means it's your turn next, right? I suppose so. Judes, I'm so sorry, everybody. I've caused you all so much trouble. But thank you. Thank you so much for bringing Mr. Gusto to justice at last. I'm afraid there's no escaping the consequences of your actions, Ms. Bound. Those actions were born of the legal mistakes that were made all those years ago. We all know that. So allow me to apologize in return on behalf of the prosecution. Oh no, I have no one to blame but myself for it all. Starting with those sculptures. Hey Jude, you think maybe you might want me to represent you? I'm not some nervous newbie anymore. And there's no way I'm letting you take the rap for everything. Aw, look at her. Well, I'd be honored. Thank you, Mr. Fender. Sorry, ma'am, but you gotta come with me now. Of course. Even her walk is such a queen boss. I love her. Judge Gavel, why did you lie to us? Lie? What are you talking about? You implied that there was no case for a retrial, but as we've proven, that wasn't true. Surely anyone truly committed to seeing justice done would have called one as soon as the body was found. I'm under no obligation to answer such questions, and you clearly have no intention of doing so either. Surely you are proving to be quite a threat to the Committee for Prosecutorial Excellence. As such, you give me little choice but to report back on your continued transgressions. No doubt you will be called to appear before the committee in due course. Now, I must be on my way. What the heck? And after you caught the real killer and everything? Isn't that what prosecutors are supposed to do? Regardless of how it may all play out, I will never regret what we accomplished here today. Mr. Edgeworth. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth. Yes? Why did you stick your nose in this case anyway? You weren't even on the job. My job is to bring the truth to light, Mr. Winter. Not only as a prosecutor, but as a person. I don't get it. I wouldn't expect you to understand. Not as long as you believe that closing a case makes you a winner. That's going way over my head. I'm going home. What was that all about? Issa still has a lot to learn is all. Wowsy! Yes? I just wanted to say old Greggy Pegleg would have been proud of you today. Oh, look at me tearing up. And thanks for helping poor Sammy Poople. Oh, of course. Hey, Edgy, looks like you cleared everything up, huh? So, what happened exactly? I was kind of busy sketching. Wait, where did Judy and Verity go? Wow, you really weren't paying attention, were you? Oh, I'm loath to admit it. Larry's sketches did come through for us on more than one occasion. Not that I'm about to tell him that. Quit it with the glaring, will ya? Whatever I did, I'm sorry. Calm down, Larry. I wasn't glaring at you. You totally were. You're just like your pop. He was a terrible liar, too. He was? Listen, I'm gonna head out. Need to fill Stanton in on what went down today. You wanna come with? Yes, of course. Great, then I'm coming too. So it's Mr. Tangaroa like. I can't wait to finally meet him. Oh, he's a real sweetheart. You'll love him. Even while locked up, he can't help but make all sorts of cookies and cakes for everyone. That's why 3 p.m. cake extravaganza is a thing for prisoners and guards alike. Really? That sounds awesome. You think there'll be any left for us to try? Didn't we find a few slices of chocolate cake in the prison the other day? Could they have been some of Mr. Tangaroa's baked goods? Gummy, what are you doing here? I heard you all were coming to see Mr. Tangaroa, so I volunteered to escort him. Hello, new friends. Aw, look, he's so much older now. Well, I mean, it has been in 18 years. I'm Samson Tangaroa, Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth at your service. I'm Mr. Edgeworth's trusty sidekick, Kay Faraday. It's very nice to meet you both. Miles here is Gregory's son. Is that so? Your father was very kind to me and fought so hard for my case. But in the end, I betrayed him. I made a false confession and... Don't worry, Mr. Tangaroa. Mr. Fenner explained everything to me. Sure did. And now we're here to tell you the truth about what happened 18 years ago. The truth? Judy did all that for me? Crazy kid racked her brain for 18 years until she finally figured out how to set you free. She's such a good person. She's such a good... I love her so much. Just thinking about like how much pain that she's been going through makes me so sad that I'm actually tearing up right now. What can I say? It turns out she really would do anything for you. Oh, Judy, I never did anything to deserve such devotion. Come now, Mr. Tangaroa. I think we all know it's not true. The bond between the two of you has held strong for all these years, after all. You think so? I guess I'd better show him. Which piece of evidence does prove of the bond Mr. Tangaroa and Miss Bound share? I'm not gonna lie to you. I wasn't really paying attention. Oh, and I also can't load it in. I would have to say the chocolates, honestly. But it could be the studio itself.
Take that!
These chocolates, Judy made them, didn't she? Yes, she did. They're super delicious and sweet. Miss Brown continued making them just as you taught her, even after that fateful day. So that there would always be some waiting for you when you finally came home. Judy. Aww. I bet they're beyond super sweet then, aren't they? Very much so, I'm afraid. I only wish we could hand them to you. Don't worry, sir. I'll make sure he gets them later. Which would be a clear breach of prison policy. Not that I have the authority now to stop him anyway. Thank you very much. You know, Detective, something about you reminds me of Detective Bad. Really, pal? Because I look up to him a lot. He's my role model. You don't say. It seems fate likes to bring people of all sorts together, huh? You hang in there, Simpson. Just a little longer. I should be able to get you out soon. I'm sorry it's taken so long. Nobody should have to wait 18 years to get justice. Don't be silly, Eddie. I'm the one who should be saying sorry. Or rather... Thank you. Damn it! I told myself I wouldn't cry. This story is so sad. When you really look at it, it's so sad. Oh. And this is why I love Ace Attorney games. This is exactly why. Moments like this that just tug on the heartstrings. Well, I guess it's my turn to wait for Judy to come home now. I better make sure there's something delicious on the table for her when she finally walks through that door. Don't let me down, Eddie. Leave it to me, big guy. Leave it to me, big guy. I-7 incident. It's been 18 long years, but this case we inherited from my father is finally coming to a close. And Miles, thanks for today. And sorry for forcing you to make the final call like that. Not at all. I simply made the call that felt right to me. Huh? What are you guys talking about? You know how Sansu was wrongfully convicted? We had to pretend that he wasn't in order to nail Gusto. But to use this false conviction against him, even to save him. As his lawyer, I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Yeah, I can see that. But now that Gusto's behind bars, I can finally start to get that wrongful conviction overturned. Yes, and I'm sure you will. Wait a minute, does this mean that even if you were only doing what's right, the false conviction had been overturned before today, Mr. Gusto would have gotten away scot-free? Yep. It's what we folks in the trade like to call a legal contradiction. The law is far from perfect. Because of things like legal contradictions, right? Yeah, but you never know. Things might change. Law is always evolving, just like us humans. Your Uncle Eddie and Miles Dorino included, am I right? The potential for growth and change. In people and the law, huh? So Miles, are you going to keep fighting crime as a prosecutor or help people as an attorney? Something tells me you got a big decision ahead of you. One only you can answer. I know. Well, let's just say I won't complain if you show up at the office one day. He is so proud of that man, Miles. He was so proud of what, like, the little snot-nosed brat that he knew for, like, so long. And on that note, it's time for me to skedaddle. I owe you big time, and I always repay my debts. But for now, thanks again for today. I mean it. I love characters like Eddie Fender. Characters that like seem all goofy and a little stupid at times, but then they put on the hat, they got that look on their face, and then they just rock the show like only they can. Characters like that are the ones that I really get like drawn to. Did he seem kind of in a hurry to get out of here, do you? He did. And honestly speaking, I'm the one who owes him a debt of gratitude. After all, he gave me the chance to reckon with my father's final case. When I was a boy, all I ever dreamed of was becoming an attorney like my father. But then, during my time with Mr. Von Karma, I learned the way of the prosecutor instead. Eventually, with the help of some good friends, I found my own voice and a new way to live. But now my career as a prosecutor is at risk of being taken away from me. It may be time to take another long, hard look at how I want to live my life, whether I like it or not. Honestly, we still got time. We still got time. I'm not even gonna... We could keep going with this. And I've been wrestling with this thought for a while now. I was thinking of like maybe if I ever get bored with one game, that I could just switch to another game. Okay, so for the most part, I'm a very, very strict, disciplined person, sort of, kind of, in a way, where like if I set a game for a stream for a day, then I want to only play that game. But there are times where I feel like, man, I missed this in this day to play this game. I kind of want to do more. And I feel like I should bring that back. I really should. Hey, Gregory. Sorry for reporting in so late. It may have taken 18 years, but we're finally in a position to prove Samson's innocence. All thanks to your boy Miles. I couldn't have done it without him. You should have seen him. The way he fought for the truth gave me chills. It was like I was watching you. Look how stern his face is. That's such an Edgeworth face. Look, I know I'm not half the attorney you were. Those guiding principles you tried to instill in me, I like to think I'm embodying them now as I carry on your legacy. Here's hoping. Your boy will be joining me in that soon. Look at that smile. He's so full of life. Whereas Edgeworth, both Edgeworths are making the same face. I'm going to fight crime as a prosecutor or help people as an attorney. What is the right answer? Which path should I choose? Now here's the real question. Should I continue here or should I just end it here and see what everybody else is doing? Because I mean, I don't know. I feel like continuing. I'm not gonna lie to you. I haven't gotten my fill. Also, it doesn't really look like anyone's doing anything anyway. I see Inan there. He's on PUBG. I see that. Everybody else is offline. I haven't gotten any messages. Oh, hold on. I got a text message here. Investigation game that gotcha. Does anyone that ever get translated? Which one was that? Investigation game that ever got translated. Oh, wait. Are you talking about? Oh, okay, hold on. Because I feel like I know what you're talking about. And I think that should have came out like a long time ago. I forgot what it was called, though. It's not that. That's different. That's something completely different. Uh, do I really just not have it? That's so weird. It should still be on this list because I know that I was still waiting for it to get its English translation, but I don't remember the name of it at all. I don't remember. I don't remember the name. If I saw it, I probably would know what it was. I promise. On everything. Cause it was different from all the other games that I normally play. Because this one was like it had it kind of looked like real people on the cover. I think possibly, but I know that they were definitely in the trailer. Damn, why is my list so long? And why is it not on the list? I had a wish listed. Can't check it now. Fuck. I'm trying to remember. I'm so mad too, cause like it was on my list. I knew. Maybe there was a demo. Maybe there was there. Wait, hold on. So all these games. Why is Phasmophobia getting an update? Wait, but I already updated this. So then, what is this? What's going on here? Truth be told, I really don't know. I really don't know. Not off the top of my head. I can't remember. But man, that's so frustrating because it was definitely on my list. I wish I could like. I might have taken it off my list because it didn't seem like it was gonna get a English release. But that doesn't sound like something I'll do unless like it was just a spur of the moment thing where I just took it off because like I took it off. It was a detective game. I know that. Wait, hold on. Actually, I know a way that I can find out. Detective game. No English release. It was not Shadows of Doubt. Come on. Shadows of Doubt is something that I've already played. Come on now. Is that the game? Real Japanese sequel. Judgment, the Centennial Case, the Underdog. It's not Judgment. The Great Hotel Murder. That sounds cool as hell. Hold on. Oh. No, that's just case closed. Damn. I really don't remember the name. That's it's gonna kill me. It's really gonna kill me. It's not the Centennial Case. It can't be because I'd remember that. I'd remember the name. But it was like a live action thing. That is so weird. Oh, Silas? Who's Silas? I really don't remember. I'm gonna have to look for this later. But live action It's not her story. I really don't think it was a Centennial case because I feel I would remember it. For one, I would definitely remember it if it was that. But I could be wrong, so let me check this.
I
don't even. This trailer doesn't even look familiar. This trailer doesn't even look familiar. Also, see, no, I would definitely remember this one because I would remember comparing the main character to Muzan because that's what he looks like. Get this out of my face, man. Oh, wait, hold on. Instead of without, gets English release. It's genuinely trying to convince me that it was either her story or the Centennial case, but I know that can't be it. I just know it's not this. I just know it. I can feel it in my heart that it wasn't that. Who is sending video messages? Stop sending video messages. Shut up. Yeah, no. I'm gonna have to look this up later because it's not gonna be good. Yes, the K Faraday Classic. No, that's legitimately gonna bother me though, because I know that it was on Steam, and I know I had it wishlisted, and I know I was looking for it the entire time. Committee's gathered here on the side of the goddess to pass fair and frank judgment. The purpose of this hearing is to assess the professional competency of Mr. Miles Edgeworth. Are we wearing the ring? Poor Kay. Somebody attacked her. Will you please stop pacing, detective? You're kicking up dust. But I swept the floor 3 times already. And sweep it a 4th. They're gonna take your badge, Mr. Edgeworth. How can you just stand there, cool as a cucumber? We don't know for certain that they will. Well, it sure seems like they mean to. Just give out pretty much spells it out. Truly, you are proving to be quite a threat to the Committee for Prosecutorial Excellence. As such, you give me little choice but to report back on your continued transgressions. No doubt you will be called to appear before the Committee in due course. She said that I would be called to appear before the Committee, nothing more. Well, I don't care. I won't stand for it. What if we never get to work together again? I'd have thought you would welcome the prospect, detective. After all, it would mean you could work with someone less problematic. Don't say that, sir. I've never heard anyone except that stupid committee say you're problematic. You're not just looking for an excuse, are you? To become a defense attorney, I mean. Because I won't let you. You're Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth. Prosecutor, you hear? You're a defense attorney, huh? The circumstances of my father's death set me on a path to becoming a prosecutor. But I'd only been interested in the law to begin with thanks to my father as well. And his work as a defense attorney. Are you going to keep fighting crime as a prosecutor or help people as an attorney? Something tells me you got a big decision ahead of you. One only you can answer. Are you listening, Mr. Edgeworth? I said I won't let you do this. Really, Detective, there's no need to be so dramatic. Who knows? The next prosecutor you work with might be a little more lenient with your salary assessments. Huh? Really? So, no more instant noodles? I mean, no. What are you saying, sir? I don't care about any of that stuff. But you thought about it, didn't you? If only for a moment. We're busy in here. Come back later. Hey there, is the prosecutor in? Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth? Look, Kyle, what part we're busy don't you get? Wait outside and I'll be with you in a bit. Oh, that's not good. Your face is red as a tomato. Red face, gritted teeth. Let's see. I said we're busy. Wait, that's it. Stomach cramps, right? No need to worry. It's nothing an injection can't cure. Now roll your sleeve for me. It won't hurt. Mike. No thanks, Kyle. I'm healthy as can be. And who might you be? Oh, sorry. I still forgot to introduce myself, huh? The name's Needler. Florence Needler. I'm a nurse at Hertz Hospital. Nobody here is hurt, so are you sure you have the right room? Yeah, you're Prosecutor Edgeworth, right? Oh, those are some deep furrows in your brow. You feeling alright? Suffering from a severe headache? I could give you an injection that'll... I'll be fine, thank you. Could you please just tell us what you're doing here? Huh? Oh, sure. Well, it's like this. I brought somebody to see you. Wait right there. I'll go grab her. Wait. Too late. I wonder who she brought along. She's here from a hospital. Maybe it's a patient? Someone you cut down the size of your trademark rapier wit? What exactly is that supposed to me? Oh, heck, how they have him chuckling over there. See that right there, sir? When you glare at me like that, I lose the will to live. You don't want to send me to the hospital, do you? Surely he's exaggerating. After all, that's the look I always give him, and nothing's happened so far. Sorry to keep you fellas waiting. Well, thoughts? Thoughts on what? You don't recognize me? There is something about her. Something familiar. This had your name on it. So I thought just maybe... So you really did put somebody in the hospital. Don't be ridiculous, detective. Well, look, sir, your name's right there on the card. Public Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth, plain as day. Be that as it may. I'm so sorry, what she's trying to say is she has amnesia. Amnesia? Yes, at least that's what they told me. Her parents must be so worried about her. I bet they've only been getting around 8 hours of sleep each night. You gotta feel for them. Do I though? Because that's quite a lot of sleep if you ask me. Whoa, tough break. But don't you worry, alright? Since you had his card, that means you really must know Mr. Edgeworth somehow. So just sit back and we'll take it from here, right, sir? At the very least, we might be able to help you figure out your identity. Really? Will you? It's going to come down to what you remember, but yes. Now that's the Mr. Edgeworth I know. Don't worry, miss. You're as good as healed. Let's not get carried away here, detective. I'm a prosecutor, remember? Not a miracle worker. I'm sorry. I don't remember you well enough to accept a gift like that just yet. That's alright. I wasn't offering it to you anyway. Where do we even start? So do you remember your name, miss? Mine, I'm sorry. She's been like this since she came in yesterday. She's only been in the hospital for a day? No way, that's amazing. How'd you figure it out so fast? How can one person be so emotionally draining? I found her wandering around late last night and brought her in. I wanted to help out, so I went through her stuff to see what I could find. Did you find anything apart from my business card? Nothing with her name or home address. Oh, wait a second. She was wearing this. It's a pretty unique design, right? This pin. What the heck? The Yatagarasu pin. Does that mean... But it can't be. Kay, is it really you? Kay? It's you, isn't it, Kay? I'm... Kay? Come on, Kay, you really don't remember? Look, it's me, Gummy! That's what you always call me. Gummy. But you're an adult, that's so rude. I don't really call you that, do I? I'm so sorry, I can't believe I feel so guilty now. What the heck happened to you? I've never seen you so polite. Being quiet and sensitive is just not... Where's the Kay I know? You're nothing like her. Careful, detective. We wouldn't want her to get the wrong impression. You make it sound as if Kay isn't normally a polite or sensitive soul. Not that he's wrong exactly, but... So what kind of person was I before? Well, first of all, your full name is Kay Faraday. You're bright and fun and full of energy and... Oh yeah, you're a great thief. A great thief? There's a little more to it than that, but yes. Thieves generally steal other people's valuables from their dressers or vaults. Steal? But that must be so awful for the people I took things from. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know I was a criminal. Maybe I lost my memory as some sort of punishment. No, that's not what I meant at all. I don't think that did her much good, sir. But it sure explains one thing. Look at these gloves. They're just the kind of person like that would wear. Hey, that outfit. It's what she was wearing when they found her. Well, we had to get her to change out of it and put on hospital clothes. So that's why I have them. There's something on this chart here. Could it have something to do with how Kay lost her memory? I'll send the outfit over to forensic later and see what they can figure out. Please do, detectives. Why, they really are some thiefy clothes, huh? A criminal. You may be a great thief, but you've never committed a crime in your life. Rest assured, you are no criminal. If you say so. Perhaps we better leave it there for now. I'm sorry. I wish I could remember who you are. How do we know each other exactly? God, I love her hair when it's down. Like, compared to when it's up, like, when it's up, it's like, cool, you know? It's, like, cultural. But her with her hair down, she's just so pretty, but, you know what I mean, the bandages kind of ruin it. You can't really see it directly, but she's really pretty with her hair down. The prosecutor Ezra's assistant. I am? So a prosecutor is the head of some sort of great thief network then. In some ways, yes. Not quite. I saw Kay 2 days ago. Perhaps we should try to figure out what she's been doing since then. Was the pen the only item on her person when you received her, Nurse Needler? There were a few other things, but I doubt any of it will be of much use to you. I'll be the judge of that. Could you please show them to us? Alright then, in no particular order I present. A jamming ninja mask? Was she at a show or something? A letter, and it's addressed to Kay. Next, a ticket stub, and finally, a fake flower, the kind people like to spruce up their bathrooms with too. It's a corsage detective, and they're usually worn by women. And that's that. So, anything useful in there? Kind of hard to tell. Frankly, I'm not really seeing a connection between any of them. Let's take a closer look at each piece when I have the chance. Got the letter, got the ticket stub, and the magenta flower. This is bad. How do we get Kay's memories back? Okay, it's shaped like the mark of the Yatagarasu and is very eye-catching indeed. Can't imagine any thief other than Kay would want to wear it. Don't worry, I'll make sure you get your precious thing back, Rosie. Big building. How do we get Kay's memory back? We can't just let her stay like this forever. Calm down, detective. I have an idea. You do? I knew you'd come to the rescue, sir. So what is it? Look closely at the ticket stub. Oh, it's for the viewing platform at the top of the big building. Big building? You know the place? Everybody knows it, silly. It's the hottest date spot in town. They say that if a couple holds hands while they're up there, they'll stay together forever. Teehee. Amnesia's just a trick. She's just another fake gothic Ross who's trying to gain your confidence. She isn't really Kay. This supposed amnesia is just a trick. This is yesterday's date, and the ticket is only valid on the date specified. Plus, it's a stop. That means she used it, right? I think it's a distinct possibility. Well, shall we go see what we can find? Now, just like that? The only way to figure out how Kay lost her memory is to retrace her steps. But what about your thing with the committee? It's not for a little while yet. We have time. Great, so can I leave Kay with you? That would be for the best, but you don't mind, do you, Kay? Of course not. Thank you. Alrighty then, back to work I go. If you need anything, feel free to give me a holler at Hertz Hospital, okay? I can come running with a syringe or 3 whenever you might happen to be. Yes, thank you. I doubt we'll be needing that particular service. Now then, detective, shall we get going? You too, Kay. Yes, sir. Yes, of course. So according to this pamphlet, the big building's 50 stories high. It's all offices inside, so the viewing platform on top is the only part that's open to the public. Here, this one's for you, sir. They were handing them out for free in the ticket area. Very kind of you, detective. Ah, I remember this very well. I think it's time we head inside. Look out, the big building! It's about to fall! What? You gotta do something! Oh, please, I'm begging you, stop! Oh, it's no good. Without fresh milk, my thoughts just aren't getting through to him. What's happening here? What's going on with the building? Just stay calm and talk to me, kid. Cut. I'm so sorry. We're shooting a movie, so could you, Oh, yes, I thought as much. Forgive our intrusion. We'll get out of your way. Detective? Oh, sorry. Really had me there for a second. Yeah, what else? Hey, director guy, can we take 5? I can't work under these conditions. I'm so sorry. Sorry. Oh, gosh. So they stopped the building from falling down? That's good. I wish we had time to explain, but maybe later. Come along, you two. Let's make ourselves scarce. Big building viewing platform. Get a look at that view. Feel the sun on your face. The wind, it's very strong up here. That's okay. You just stand behind me or Mr. Edgeworth here. We're both more than big enough to keep the breeze away. See for yourself. Okay, does this place bring back any memories? I'm not sure. Have I really been here before? Perhaps simply encouraging her to talk will help. Hey, please, any thoughts or feelings that come to mind might be a clue we can use. Alright. I don't know if this will be of any help at all, but... I still can't be sure if I've even been here before. It's so high up, and the wind is so strong. It's terrifying. I don't remember. I just don't remember anything. It's no good. I'm so sorry. No dice, huh? I'm sorry. I feel so useless. I know I'm supposed to have all these memories, but I just can't remember. You have amnesia, Kay. Don't be so hard on yourself. Listen, sir. Maybe just this once, try not to be so intimidating, okay? Or at the very least, don't use your trademark glare on her. Nobody asked for your opinion, detective.
Objection!
Alright, no, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not used to cross-examining people that don't actually remember. So I just can't see how that piece of evidence is related to anything. Okay, you ain't worry about me. We'll get your memories back, I promise.
Hold it!
Well, let's take itself says otherwise. I don't remember. I don't remember coming here at all. I can't even imagine wanting to come here. The wind is strong. It's terrifying. I used to love places like this, though. But am I really her? I feel dizzy just taking a look around. I don't even think anyone should be allowed up here. What if an old person fell or a child? It doesn't bear thinking about. There's a fence all around us, and it's plenty high. There's really no need to worry. If you say so.
Hold it!
Come on, let's just take a look around. Do you recognize anything? Anything at all? Let's see. Cherry blossoms. Go on. I was standing under the cherry tree. Yes, I was trying to stay out of the rain. It was raining. I remember now. And there was a red something. So it was raining. She was underneath the cherry tree. She saw something red from where she stood, but what? Was it something I said? No, but you could add that to your testimony. We can explore it further.
Hold it!
There's something red. Can you tell me any more about it? I'm not sure. It was just a red thing. That's all I can say. What can we see here? Why that's red? Was it concession stand over there, perhaps? Stand. Red concession stand. Yes, I think that was it. Somebody was walking toward me from beyond it. And then what happens? Then, I'm sorry. That's alright. If you could just add what you told us to your testimony.
Hold it!
The stand in question is the one behind you, correct? That's right. I remember the red color, and the person walking toward me from beyond it. I saw it all from under the cherry tree. Tell me something. This person you keep mentioning, did you not see their face, or did you simply not know who they were? I'm sorry. I'm just not sure. So all we have to go on is a person walking toward her from beyond the concession stand. The fact that she saw this from beneath the cherry tree. Wait, hold on. Because I didn't even really look at the pamphlet. Objection! You say that you saw someone over there beyond the stand, and that they were walking towards you? Yes, I can see them getting closer. Are you sure it wasn't a ghost? No, it was a person, I'm sure of it. But from where you were standing, anyone you saw on the other side of the concession stand would have had to have been floating in midair hundreds of feet above the ground. So how on earth could it have been a person? Why are you screaming at her? I'm not lying, I promise. Somebody read the stand. Somebody read, and they were on the other side. They were walking towards me, getting closer. And closer. And then they... Okay, what's the matter? You're alright, we're here. Whatever it is, it can't hurt you. I was pushed and I fell by a person in a red raincoat. So a red raincoat could walk on air. Supposedly pushed her off of the building. None of this makes any sense, not the least of which nobody could fall from this height and survive. Attention everyone, please stay right where you are. What's wrong, officer? I'm Detective Gumshoe. Mind filling me in? Yes, sir. A body's been discovered here in this building, sir. A body? Whose body exactly? Not sure. We're still working on it. What we do know is that the victim is a young woman. That her name is Kay. What the blazing... That is incredibly insane. He said, what the blazing... I can't with Gumshoe. I really can't. Prosecutorial excellence chamber. Wait, this room. Officer, isn't this... Yes, sir. This is the trial chamber of the Committee for Prosecutorial Excellence. So it's here now? I knew that they moved out of the prosecutor's building, but I had no idea that they'd come here. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth, and Kay too. How are you all doing? Is Kay feeling any better? We heard there was some kind of incident. I'm sorry, but who might this be? This? This is my grandma. Hold on one second. Name's Hilda Hurt, Sonny. And who the heck might you be? Ahem. It's a pleasure to meet you. Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth at your service. Nurse Needlight, your grandmother's name, Hertz. Is she... Yep. She's the director of Hertz Hospital. This old fogey woman is the head of a hospital? Don't you old fogey me, you dang reprobate. How did she do that? Well, it sounds like you're kind of a big deal, ma'am. Oh, that's not not wrong. Not wrong at all. Oh, him? He's the one looking after the girl. The one with the amnesia. It seems Dr. Hertz is a bit of an introvert. Want to fix those brow furrows of yours, Sonny? Oh, there's no fixing those, ma'am. They're downright incurable. You're sure you want me to say that, Grandma? Well, alright then. Nah, I don't got a dang thing more to say to none of ya. You go on about your business, you hear? As long as that body, this business doesn't involve messing with the deceased body, I got work to do. Wait, please, not a dang thing, I tell you. Hey, you can't talk to us like that. What gives you the right, huh, pal? Oh, didn't I mention Grandma's also a coroner? She's in charge of this case. Which means, ouch. Which means exactly that. What do you mean? Exactly what? How am I supposed to know? She said it, not me. Huh? It's like I'm trapped in a comedy routine I can't escape. Well, I got a body to be looking at. Catch you later, gang, and take care. The heck is their deal? What does it matter as long as we have permission to investigate? What does it matter? It matters a bunch, sir. What will you do now, Mr. Edgeworth? Examine the scene of the crime, of course. What kind of prosecutor would I be if I didn't? Alright, let's get to work. The person over there is called Kay, right? Surely that means I can't be the Kay you know. That's what we're looking to figure out, but don't worry. You're the Kay we know. I'm certain of it. Thanks. A Kay who lost her memory and a victim who shares her name. Both meeting their respective fates here at the big building. No doubt this case will be the key to restoring our Kay's memories. I'd stake my life on it. Ooh, pool of blood back here. Statue of the Goddess of Justice. You sure know your stuff, sir. So does she dole out blessings or what? She's not that kind of goddess detective. She's a symbol of the sanctity of the law. The scales represent justice, the sword, retribution, and the blindfold shows her partiality. I must scour the scene and inspect anything that catches my attention. There's a pool of blood here at the foot of the statue. Judging by the amount and how it is spread, I'd say this is where the victim was killed. But the body's on that table behind us, sir. How come? You only surmise the killer must have moved there for some reason after committing the murder. Whoa, this is one big statue. What's it even for? The goddess of justice stands in judgment over the committee's proceedings against corrupt prosecutors. If I'm not very much mistaken, it's a Paul Halik original. You mean the victim from the IS-7 incident, sir? Mr. Ari Frost? No matter how murky his name or morals were, there's no denying his skill. This is a genuine work of art. I heard someplace that a lot of good artists are either geniuses or eccentrics. Which do you think he was? I don't know about Halik, but Larry is definitely an eccentric. I'm a semicircle desk with seating for 11. It almost reminds me of a certain legend. I know the one, sir. The Knights of the Brown Table, right? Whoops, guess that wasn't it. The Newts of the Brown Table, the Knives of the Brown Stable. Further and further from the mark, but I'll refrain from rubbing his nose in it for now. Trying to inspect the body, but they're in the way. But we're kind of busy right now. Brown's still looking at the body. Stay the heck out of my way, you hear? So could you give us a few more minutes? Of course. We might can examine the body ourselves later after she's done. Officer, tell me about the security arrangements for this room. Yes, sir. You need a special key card to enter, sir. Interesting. So not just anybody can enter. In which case, the person who discovered the body would have been... Yes, sir. A member of the committee. They found it when they arrived for today's hearing. The hearing. My hearing. Which would be underway right now if it wasn't for this. Sorry to intrude. Oh! That's a... Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I forgot that she was even in this chapter. Who are... Huh? What's that ground? I'd know that voice anywhere. That's Von Karma's little girl. Oh, so you two know each other. It has been too long, Grandma Hurts. And you as well, Miles Edgeworth. I bet she said that part with so much malice. It's like she looked at Grandma Hurts. It's been such a long time, Grandma Hurts. And then she turned to Edgeworth. And you as well, Miles Edgeworth. What's she doing here? Franziska Von Karma. She is the daughter of Manfred Von Karma and is a prosecutor like myself. These days, she's mainly been working with Interpol, though I thought she was supposed to be abroad. Don't look so surprised. Where my investigation leads, I follow, no matter where in the world that might be. Which means that there must be some kind of international angle to this case, yes? You know full well that I've been pursuing a certain smuggling ring. And that I won't rest until it's been destroyed and its ill-gotten goods recovered. So the smuggling ring is involved then. That information is to be shared on a need-to-know basis, and you don't need to know. I see she means to be as helpful as ever. Miss Von Karma, was it? Grandma wants to tell you something. I'm about done here. The scene's all yours. In that case, we'd like to examine the body ourselves too, if you wouldn't mind. I mind plenty. I remember where I heard about you now, you dang varmint. Don't need no soon-to-be ex-prosecutor messing the place up. Go on, get. Just remember, it's not me saying this stuff, okay? Please, Granny. It's important. What are you calling a granny, little missy? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you. This is going nowhere. I didn't want to have to do this, but Francisca, I need you to add us to this investigation. We have to see that body up close or we'll never learn the truth about what happened to Kay. As in, Kay Faraday? Please, you gotta help us out here. Kay needs us. I don't know what you're up to, but very well. Thank you. You won't regret it. Of course, I expect to receive a full explanation when I grill you later. We owe you, sir. Big time. I wasn't talking to you, Scruffy. Yes, the first whip of the series! Well, of this game, anyway. Oh, it was because this is her first appearance in this game, and they always do that for returning characters before they, you know, introduce themselves. You allow them to examine the body. Because remember, these two games were separate at one point. So they'll treat the returning characters as a new character until they introduce themselves. I'm about to say no to an international big shot like yourself, hon, but are you sure about this? Yeah, I agree with Grandma. Are you sure you're sure? Of course I'm sure. It's my prerogative to judge the whole world in my name. That's just common sense. Of the extremely arrogant sort, perhaps. Suit yourself, but don't say I didn't warn you. Well, you heard her. Try not to get fired, okay? Don't worry. It'll take a lot more than this to ruin my reputation should things turn sour. Like me, who's on the verge of losing my badge. Alright. Well, one thing's for certain. This isn't Kay. She doesn't even look like her. She actually kind of looks more like Mia. I think we knew that already, Detective. Our Kay's standing right over there, after all. Victim looks to be in her 30s. She's wearing a white suit. Could be she worked in one of the offices here in the building. Perhaps, but for now she remains unidentified. The question is, why did the police seem to think her name was Kay? Let's go. Well, for starters, there's this. This book. What the? That's Kay's promise notebook. It's where she wrote down all the promises she made to her dad. I haven't seen this in a while. Indeed. Never take things from a stranger. Never go anywhere with a stranger. Always greet people with a smile, even people you don't know. Never cry in front of strangers. Always try your hardest to learn about things you don't understand. Oh, I just remembered something Detective Bad told me a few years back. He said something precious to Kay had disappeared from the station. What? Evidence went missing from police custody? Detective Bad said he looked for it everywhere, but no dice. What could this mean? And why did it turn up here of all places? You there. What do we know about this notebook, officer? The victim was holding it when they found her, sir. It was the only thing with any kind of name on it at the time. So that's how she became Kay. Talk about a red herring. Still doesn't explain how she ended up with it, though. If only we had a few more leads on the victim's true identity. Seems she suffered a serious burn to her hand at some point. Think it has something to do with how she died? No, the scar's too old for that. I would imagine it happened some time ago. She's holding something. Detective, could you open her hand for me? Yes, sir, right away. What is that? Wait, I know. It's a loyalty card. Probably from yeah. I love how the only way that you know that she whipped him is because of the sound before the text popped up. It's a key card. Ugh, why, sir? Why? Question we should be asking is, what does it open? I know what it opens. A pure white jacket with a deep red stain on its lapel. This jacket, the buttons are on the wearer's right-hand side. So weird about that. Buttons always go on the right, no? No, you're right, yeah. Now that I think about it. Oh, women's clothing. Oh! Traditionally, the buttons would be on the left. Why? I say so. You sure know your stuff. This is common knowledge, detective. Clearly not that common, because I didn't know that. Nothing else seems amiss. Wait, what's this in the pocket? A pair of gloves, also white. They don't seem to be sold in any way. I imagine they must have belonged to the victim. She's kind of bad though, like for real. There's something pinned to the jacket here. A piece of magenta fabric. Whatever it was, it looks like it was torn off pretty roughly. It doesn't look as if there's anything in the chest pocket. Nothing except this hole right here. I look at how the fabric was torn. I think it was pierced by something sharp. Can't keep your coins in there now. They'd all fall right out. You've never heard of a change purse, detective? Sure have, sir. It's another word for a pocket, right? That's peak Edgeworth Gumshoe duality. The victim's hair is caked with blood. But she was hit with something, huh? Fortunately, it's too early to say for certain. Perhaps an answer will turn up as we investigate further. Oop.
Eureka!
Judging by its appearance, I'd say that the flower Kay was carrying originally belonged to the victim. Yeah, now that you mention it, it does look like it's made out of the same fabric. Indeed, let's make a closer comparison. Torn edges match up exactly. You've got one heck of a knife, sir. If the flower belonged to the victim, this implies a connection between the victim and Kay Faraday. Furthermore, it appears that the flower was torn off with considerable force. Kay Faraday was involved in the incident somehow, and based on what we're seeing here, we may have no choice but to treat her as our main suspect. What? There's no way she could have done this. I can't even begin to imagine it. There isn't a murderous bone in her body. Nevertheless, we lack the evidence to disprove such an assertion. For the moment, we're simply considering all the possibilities. Isn't that right, Miles Edgeworth? For better or worse, yes. I would imagine that the victim's keycard probably grants access to this room, wouldn't you? Let me go find out, sir. I'm back. They found some details on that keycard in the security system. It's for this room, just like you said. So the victim was able to enter and exit this chamber freely. Assuming that the keycard actually belonged to her, yes. Indeed. Is there really anything else to worry about? This could be the murder weapon? A 3-armed candelabra? The victim suffered the same number of puncture wounds to the chest. Puncture wounds that could well have been made by these spikes. A candle album? Not quite, detective. A candelabra. A candle holder, in other words. I gotcha. That reminds me. I forgot to pay my electricity bill once a while back, and I had to live by candlelight for a whole month. Who does that in this day and age? It seems we're no closer to discovering the identity of our victim. Why do I... See, no, I just randomly started thinking about it, and now that I think about it, I think the name of the game had, like, something to do with, like, a place in Japan. I mean, obviously, but I mean, like, in the title. What, is this something Tokyo? Tokyo Detective? No. Ghostwire Tokyo? No, but I do know what that is. There's no way that it was this game. Yeah, no, this is a completely different thing. No. Was it Shinjuku? Detective game. Wait. No. Not this. It's not that either. Man, that's gonna drive me crazy. Like the longest time, I swear on my life. Am I really K? Can you really be sure? Of course we're sure. What are you talking about? Thank you. And that person lying there? It's someone you may have murdered. That's all we can say for now. No, there's no way she did it. Isn't that right, sir? Indeed, I don't believe the K we know could have done something like this. You're becoming a real softy, Miles Edgeworth. Oh, look who it is again. Ugh, I know that voice. With a winning smile and the #1 name in the business, it is I, Prosecutor Eustace Winter. Damn, you know what? They really cooked with Francisca's sprite. She kind of looks like a little more normal than like normal. Like if we were judging how what we thought her age was based off of her sprite, she could definitely pass as in her 20s. Because like her normal sprite, there's no way she's in her teens. Step away from that body, Edgeworth. I didn't call for you, and I don't need you. This case is mine. It's what the victim would have wanted. You knew the victim? So it really is her. But be not afraid, everyone. For the goddess of justice will guide us to the truth. She sure will. Now that I'm here, everything is going to be alright. Whoever did this will live to regret it. I'll show them... Miles Edgeworth, who is this imbecile? She said it so bluntly. Why am I getting the death glare? I've got nothing to do with them. Francisco von Karma, I presume? My apologies. I should have introduced myself sooner. Verity Gavel, at your service. And the deceased in this case is Rosie Ringer, attorney at law, and a member of the Committee for Prosecutorial Excellence. Rosie Ringer. Ring around the Rosie. And it's funny because there's she's on top of half of a ring right now. See, that would explain the key card. So you're the lead prosecutor. Yep, which means this case will be solved in... You didn't tell me your name yet, little boy. If you want to know my name, oh, you have to... She has zero patience, zero chill for this kid. Stop babbling and tell me now. It's Eustace Winter. I think we established where the balance of power lies in this particular room. Mr. Guy in charge? Here, this is from Grandma. What's this? Oh, the preliminary findings. Looks like it's a game over for you, Edgeworth. This isn't a game, Mr. Winter. Alright, that's done. See you next, Stiff. Yeah, home time. I could murder a bowl of noodles right about now. We're out of here, everybody. Stay healthy. Yeah, why is she bent all the way over like that? Like, I know you're old, but I have yet to see an old person be hunched over that deeply. Let's see, so the wound on her head is from when she fell over after she died. Eustace. It was the candle holder that killed her, huh? And she died sometime late last night. What now, Gavel? It's very kind of you to share the coroner's findings with everybody, Eustace. Or perhaps you should leave it there. We wouldn't want you to strain your voice after all. No, that would be a tragedy. Anyway, that settles it. We need to arrest Kay Faraday. What? What the heck are you talking about? I think Eustace's meaning was very clear. Miss Faraday is the murderer. And though she is dressed differently than usual, this young lady covered in bandages is Miss Faraday herself, correct? You really mean to arrest her here and now? If you do, then I'll be forced to object loudly and forcefully. Damn! As if further confirmation were needed, there it is. The committee was right to call your conduct into question. It is questionable in the extreme. Please, Mr. Edgeworth, just go. It's fine. Fine? This is anything but fine, Kay. I still don't remember anything. So maybe I did do it. Maybe I killed that poor woman and I just don't remember. The goddess smiles on those who confess their sins. It is her wish that our confessions cleanse us. She applauds your commitment to the cause of justice, as do I. Judge Gavelle, Eustace. You really intend to arrest Kay. Could you at least explain your grounds for doing so? I, for one, certainly don't intend to yield. Not until I've seen some evidence to support your accusations. Then allow me. Prepare to be hit with the faceful deductive genius, Edgeworth. They call it the human race because somebody has to win it, and that somebody is me. I won this race too. I saw it before anybody else did. Kay Faraday is the murderer, no doubt about it. She snuck into the committee chamber looking to do some of her trademark great thieving. It means that nobody but her could have killed Rosie Ringer. No, but like, I see where he's coming from, but he's wrong. Because he doesn't even understand the concept of a great thief. The Gumshoe saying that, you know it must be bad. Wait, what did he say? Detective Genius? That was a total mess. I asked you to explain your grounds for arresting Kay, yet you have to explain exactly nothing. True, but we haven't seen any proof of her innocence either. It's alright, Kay. Mr. Edgeworth will pull off a miracle somehow. You just gotta believe in him. My deductions aren't acts of divine intervention, you know. Oh, Miles Edgeworth, I'd hate for you to disappoint me, but in the event that you do, I'll be sure to freely let you know. Oh, if that's not a warning to not mess up, I don't know what is. I really don't.
Hold it!
There are two major flaws with the statement you just made. Flaws in a statement of mine? I don't make mistakes. It's literally impossible. And that's the third flaw right there. You're just trying to confuse me. It's a cheap tactic even for you. Well, it won't work because I'm the world champion of not getting confused, so there. I won this race too. I saw it before anybody else did. Kay Faraday is the murderer, no doubt about it. Would you mind explaining the grounds for your accusation in a little more detail? Unless you insist. Prepare to be wild, Edgeworth. Figured it all out before anybody else even had the chance. Before I even saw the scene. No, before I even heard about the case. I knew it right away. She did it. She's the murderer. It can't be anybody else. Your grounds. Yes, sorry. And then he whipped himself. This right here, this dynamic is what I live for. I was just getting to that.
Hold it!
Really? What was it she was trying to steal? Well, a file. A very particular file. One pertains to your professional conduct, in fact, Mr. Edgeworth. And you can prove that she needed this file badly enough to steal it? Oh, there will be no need to go into that. Will there, Mr. Prosecutor? No, that, won't be necessary. What? Please, Mr. Winter, continue.
Hold it!
You have proof that it could only have been Kay who committed the murder. Nope. Then might I suggest you try looking into other possible suspects with all due haste? That I believe would be the winning approach here. The winning approach? According to the reports we received, the police have found no signs of anyone else's involvement. So you're accusing Kay based on that alone? A little tenuous even for you. And suggesting that there are other possible suspects when there clearly aren't, isn't? Well, that's something that could prove Kay didn't do it. Obviously, it's set up plain and simple. You don't have to. It's alright, Kay. The truth will come out. I promise. I just need you to give me some time. Kay isn't capable of murder. There's no way she killed Mrs. Ringer. But I have to prove that somehow, or she'll remain a suspect. Objection! I'm sorry. I just didn't expect to get it right. I really guessed. I promise you I guessed. Are you familiar with this room, Mr. Winter? It certainly sounds like you are. What can I say? Winners know where winners go. I'm number 1 and 2 and 3. Yo, I like this kid. He's alright in my book. He's alright in my book. Just the slightest bit annoying, but he's alright. Eustace Winners. In other words, the majority of your work is second, not third rate. Second, if not third rate. Why do you always have to make fun of me? You can take it as a slight if you wish, but the fact remains that you seem unfamiliar with this key card. Who do you take me for? Of course I'm familiar with it. You need one of those to get in here. Oh! Don't you? Have you no shame? Mr. Winter, do you really even suspect Kay? Of course I do. She did it. Faraday's the killer. The rest you can tell us. How Kay got into such a secure room as this without a key card? You know, there was yeah. Masterful summary. Now, as we know, only members of the committee have key cards. Therefore, only they can enter. Precisely. Why is she agreeing with me? Please take a look at this. I had security pull the data earlier. As you can see, the door to this room was open at 12:52 a.m. with Miss Ringer's keycard. Cannot know for certain, of course. Well, who's to say the culprit didn't enter the room with Miss Ringer and then kill her over some sort of subsequent disagreement? Sounds like a plausible theory, but that's all it is. For one, it would require the victim and her murderer to have known one another. Yeah, and Kay didn't know the woman, I'm sure of it. How can you be sure of it, though? Exactly, like, how can you possibly be sure of such a thing? That's pure speculation on your part, detective. There is no place for guesswork in the courtroom or at a crime scene. Hard evidence is what is required. In that case, are you suggesting that you have said hard evidence to support your theory? Evidence that Kay Faraday and Rosie Ringer knew one another? But of course. What? I have here a letter. Dr. Hurst found it in the victim's chest pocket. Another of the victim's possessions. And you kept this to yourself until now? You planned for this, didn't you? Is that why? Yeah, she's a little shady. But, we love her all the same. Because she has the drip. Shall I read it for you? Rosie, thanks so much for agreeing to help with my plan. Now we can both get what we want. Good luck getting your revenge for what happened 12 years ago. Kay. This would seem to indicate pretty strongly that the two of them were accomplices, wouldn't you say? Accomplices in a plot to steal from the very room in which we are standing. No. Wait, so your principal suspect is Kay Faraday for this second crime as well as Miss Ringer's murder. I'm the principal suspect? Don't listen to her. It's all lies, all of it. You're not like that. You'd never do any of the stuff they're accusing you of. Then how do you explain the letter, detective? Unlike Mr. Winter, I suspected that Judge Cavell herself had some proof to support her accusation. but I didn't expect it to be quite so definitive. Nicely done, Gavel. Thank you, Eustace.
Hold it!
We're not done here yet. I still have questions, and you better have answers. Would you mind if I handled this, Eustace? Wait, be my guest. Have fun arguing Edgeworth into the ground. Can't let them steamroller me on this. I have to find a way to take back the advantage. As the letter more than adequately proves, Miss Faraday and Miss Ringer were acquainted. Seems Miss Faraday had asked for Miss Ringer's help in a plot of some kind, but for whatever reason their alliance must have broken down. Miss Ringer lost her life in the resulting disagreement, but she had one last card to play. The letter she kept safe in her left chest pocket, which spells out the name of her killer. She's good. Better than ever, even. Think you can take her down, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, of course. Don't do this out of pride, Miles Edgeworth. If you're going to fail, do it on somebody else's time. Hey, whose side are you on, sir? There is only one side to be on, Scruffy. The side of the truth. That's facts. And let nobody tell you otherwise. Looks like the kid's got something to say. Well, if there's only one side to be on, then it has to be on the winning. I love her for this. Like, I Eustace Winter has a small place in my heart. But Francisca is just peak for this. She's absolutely peak. Because with the way that Judge Gavel has just been coddling this man Eustace from like the beginning, it gets annoying real quick. So to see him get put in his place and reminded that in the face of a true prosecutor, a true perfect prosecutor, no less, that he really ain't talking about nothing. My thoughts exactly.
Hold it!
What was the nature of their relationship? Miss Faraday was grateful for Miss Ringer's cooperation, just as the letter says. I think that more than adequately describes it, don't you? Now, as I was saying, since Miss Faraday had asked for Miss Ringer's help in a plot of some kind.
Hold it!
Can you tell us any more about this plot? The letter implies a theft, and it was written by your friend Faraday, making her the prime suspect. Case closed.
Objection!
Anybody can forge a letter. It's not conclusive proof of anything. I also seem to recall Miss Faraday referring to herself as a great thief on more than one occasion. She's on sabbatical. How can you be so sure of that? It's unlikely she would tell you if she had resumed her activities, surely. Perhaps she took up stealing again and simply chose to keep it from you. I can't prove that either way right now, and she knows it. As I was saying, it seems Miss Faraday and Miss Ringer revolved with a plot to steal something.
Hold it!
Whatever reason, could you be a little more specific? Not at the moment. But I'm sure our investigation will uncover any number of possibilities. Whereas your lack of proof that Miss Faraday is innocent continues to be a major problem for you.
Objection!
I can see that some of the evidence would seem to point to Kay's involvement, but none of it is anywhere near conclusive.
Overruled!
A letter explicitly outlining us connection to the victim, backed up by supporting evidence from the scene. How much more conclusive could it be? And what's more, where is your proof to the contrary? Yeah, shit log. Almost correct the play. Do 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 do. That's not it. And place of death, cause of death is so 35%. Oh wait, yeah, no, hold on. Those preliminary crimes are kind of good. So the victim kept the most vital clue of all closest to her heart? How very touching. The voices of the dead fight to be heard, and even then they don't always reach us. but her voice rang loud and true, and it told us that Miss Faraday is her killer. I think you may have misheard me, Your Honor. Or perhaps an evil spirit was trying to mislead you. Is that another text message? Hey, you take that back. Perhaps we should try listening to the words of the coroner's report instead. By all means, if I recall correctly, the victim was stabbed on her left side. No. Yes, I'm afraid so. You claim that the letter was found in the victim's left chest pocket, right where she was stabbed by the candle holder. Indeed, 3 puncture wounds to the chest and yet not 1 to the letter? Miraculous, no? Well, Judge Gavel, how do you explain that? Because I can think of one explanation. That the letter was deliberately placed there after the fact in order to cast suspicion on Kay. Someone went to a lot of trouble to create the crime scene we see before us. And that someone is the real culprit, who almost certainly also forged this letter. It's clear that the culprit intended to frame Kay, by means of that letter. And you fell for it hook, line, and sinker.
Objection!
No, Faraday did it. The letter was in her other pocket. Yeah. Huh? Seriously? Well, left chest pocket thing was a mistake. Whoever reported it must have meant their left. It meant their left. Stop your foolish flounder, you foolishly foolish fool. Or are you just that incurably foolish? Why do you keep whipping me? And stop making fun of my deductions. There, I saved you the trouble of disciplining him. Yes, even though I had no intention of doing so. The letter is stained with blood, which suggests it had indeed been placed somewhere on her left side. Therefore, I doubt there was some sort of mistaken report, unless that report was given by you. Gavel, say something. No objections? Good. Then allow me to continue. So we have established the existence of a second suspect. No, we haven't. The murderer had to get in here, remember? Who else could have gone in apart from Faraday and Ringer? Whoever it was would have needed a key card. Judge Gavel proposed that the killer entered the room together with the victim. But what if there's something questionable about the very basis of her theory itself? It would have to be the keycard records, right? This? Yeah.
Take that!
Look again at the keycard record provided by Judge Gavel a short while ago. As already noted, the victim's keycard was used at 12:52 a.m. But you will note that someone else's keycard is also listed. The mystery person who could have entered beforehand and lay in wait for the victim, you mean. This other person entered at 10:15 p.m., so it's certainly not outside the realm of possibility. Except I'm afraid it is. And where's your evidence, huh, Your Honor? My evidence? I am the evidence detective. It was my keycard. There's nothing suspicious about a committee member entering the chamber as I please. Is there? So then why? Wait, hold on. Hold on, let me get this straight. Let me get this straight. If something were to happen to where, you know, like Edgeworth or someone he knows was somehow involved in the case, they would want him off the case because there's a conflict of interest. Whereas she's literally involved in the events of the case, and she's not off the case? Make that make sense. It's not. That's also not the exonerating evidence you seem to think it is. Unless you could also prove that you yourself didn't murder your colleague. What utter nonsense. What would I have to gain from killing her?
Objection!
I am sure you know how I'm going to answer that, Your Honor. I believe further investigation will shed light on any motives you might have had. I am a faithful servant of the goddess. Why would I ever resort to an act of crime? I used my keycard, that much is true, but my reason for entering this room is far from questionable. And perhaps you'd care to tell us why. I have business here in the committee chamber. There were certain preparations to make. Preparations? It sounds pretty suspicious to me. I am not at liberty to share what I was preparing for. But I am sure Prosecutor Edgeworth can make an educated guess. My hearing, she must have been busy gathering the documents they're going to use against me. To relieving me of my badge. Alright, children, that's enough. It's good to keep our skills and our tongue sharp, especially when we're young. That'll do for now. Who in the... there he is. It really takes me back to the days of my youth, back when I would have wrangled with a certain detective. He disappeared, you know. I hope he's out there somewhere, living his best life. You'll have to forgive me, it's just, I get so emotional. The tears, I can't stop them. Chairman Winner. Winner. Verity, my girl, do you ever stop working? Your dedication puts us all to shame. Is this young Francisca I see before me? Dear child, when did you get so big? Uncle Winner, it's been far too long. And so formal. I thought we were like family. You used to sit on my knee and shout, Uncle Winner, at the top of your little lungs. Ugh, the time goes by so very fast. Well, can't help but shed a tear. Dad, what are you doing here? What am I doing here? A committee member has been murdered and you're in charge of the case, my boy. What is this? Bring your pops to work day? Silence! Do you have any idea who he is? This man is practically the right hand of the goddess herself. A former chief prosecutor and the current chairman of the Committee for Prosecutorial Excellence. Now, Verity. There's no need to bring all that up. I'm just a harmless old man, really. Allow me to apologize for the detective's rudeness. I am Miles Edgeworth, correct? And your little subordinate, Dick Gumshoe. I am Excelsius Winner. Excelsius? Bring back Blaze. Bring back Blaze. I'm sorry. No, I can't do it. I cannot do it. What kind of... What? That's stupid. That's stupid. That's a redonkadonk. Excelsius? No. No. Blaze the best. Excelsius Winner. What is that even supposed to be a pun on? Father to this idiot boy, among other things. My wife and I were so happy when he was born. And now she's gone too. Heaven only knows to where. Dad, here, use my handkerchief. Thank you, son. You're a good boy, in your own silly way. Like father, like son, I suppose. Though it's hard to say who's the bigger fool. Definitely not this guy. 100% not this guy. Well, Verity, how goes the investigation? Thank you for asking, sir. We have identified a prime suspect, one Kay Faraday. We are currently trying.
Objection!
You don't have nearly enough to make her your prime suspect, and you know it. Or have you forgotten what we just discovered about the letter?
Objection!
I told you that was just a mix-up. They got the wrong Don't test my patience. Alright. That's enough. Let's all just calm down, shall we? I'm sorry you had to see that, sir. My humblest apologies. I think you've all made your cases very clearly. All except for you, Eustace. What? But Dad? We are prosecutors, and it is our duty to identify suspects and bring them to justice. But I wouldn't dare call someone a suspect without evidence or motive. Please, Mr. Edgeworth, I know all about your relationship to the accused. Thick as Thieves seems pretty apt, based on what I've heard. Kay's no criminal. She's helped us catch the bad guys loads of times. Much about this case is still unclear, sir. Please, you have to let us... it's heartwarming, really. The bonds of friendship are so strong among the young. But, circumstances being what they are, I'm afraid those bonds won't be enough. What is that supposed to mean? The prosecutor's office needs this case cleared up as quickly as possible. Time is oh so precious, and we have so little of it, and there are so many other cases. I'm sorry, but you understand, of course, don't you? Alright, Miss Kay Faraday. Time to come along quietly. Yes, sir. You're not taking her. She's innocent, I tell you. To defy the chairman of the committee is to defy the law itself. It is an act so brazen a hearing will be necessary at all. Are you prepared for Mr. Edgeworth to lose his badge over this detective? So either Kay goes down or Mr. Edgeworth loses his badge? What the heck am I supposed to do? You use his badge to shield yourselves? Oh, how the committee too has fallen. Kay, you're innocent. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Thank you. We've only known each other for a short while, but you've been very kind. And I'm sorry. Sorry for being a criminal. Your contrition has been noted, Miss Faraday, and I will be conveyed to the goddess of justice. What the world should I do? When I was little, all I wanted was to be like my father. To become an attorney and fight for those who can't fight for themselves. But now, my fate is tied to that of this one tiny badge. One tiny badge against the life of a dear acquaintance. Who am I kidding? There's nothing to weigh up here. I guess this is it. Goodbye, Mr. Edgeworth.
Hold it!
Judge Gavelle, a moment, please. Yes? What is it? Your badge? What is the meaning of this? I'm returning it. From this day forth, I'm a prosecutor no longer. Mr. Edgeworth! What are you doing? Miles Edgeworth, explain yourself right now. You're giving it all up just like that? You can't mean it, sir. Tell me you're kidding, please. If you're not a prosecutor anymore, then what does that make me? I have one duty and one duty alone, to pursue the truth. If being a prosecutor means I must turn a blind eye to the very truth before me, then I will gladly shed the title to be free. I'll carve my own path, one I believe in. I won't let my search for the truth end here.
Objection!
Are you running away from the Von Karma from me? Say what you will, Francisca. You won't change my mind. So you're leaving me behind again? I'll never forgive you for this. Never. No, this is all my fault. None of this would have happened if it wasn't for me. Wait, Kay, don't go. You stay right where you are, detective. But sir, I'm not a prosecutor anymore. Don't say that. Where you go, I go, Mr. Edge. Where you go, I go. What you see, I see. I'm always there, right by your side. There's no need for you to do that now, detective. Simply focus on your job and do what you can. Oh, now, this is no good, is it? We let a dangerous criminal run free. I try, and yet, it's never enough. There's no need to worry, sir. We'll set up a cordon. She won't get far. She better not. I'd be very disappointed in you if she does. Honestly? Yeah. Yeah, no, I can feel safe in ending things here. Alright, everyone. That's going to be it, the end of today's show. Thank you so much for stopping by. I had a roller coaster of things going on during this stream, but hey, we made it through the third chapter. We're a quarter of the way, or at least some fraction of a number away through the fourth one. And we've got a lot done, yeah. We surpassed our limits, to put it lightly. But yeah, I wanted to get that extra bit of time, mainly because, you know, we had only just barely reached 2 hours. And I'm like, we got time. We can do this. We're probably going to have to move Faraday Friday to a different day. No, actually, depending on when I come home Friday, we'll have to see if we can get an Ace Attorney stream in. But then again, I'm probably gonna be tired from work and all that. So yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But that is then. This is now. And until we meet again, everyone, take care. I have been your host for this evening, the greatest ringmaster ever graced the square screen, your king of clowns, your jester of justice, Mr. As Real as It Gets, Azrael Kuranushi. And today, I'd like to say, once again, I'd like to thank you from where did my... Oh. Why didn't nobody tell me that my VTuber model was gone? Anyway, thank you all for stopping by, and I'll see you again next time.